This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we react to new trailers from Marvel for Black Widow and the Loki Disney Plus series and review episode 3 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then, our buddy John Bellotti Jr. joins us to review Godzilla vs. Kong.
Run! It's Godzilla!
All that and more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, April 5th, 2021.
Can I sing the song? Jockin' and nerdin'. Spoiler alert. Jock and nerdin'. That's the theme song. I sang it.
Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jockin', be nerdin'. Be funny, disturbing. We jockin', be nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
That's right. What's up, listener? How's it going? And welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us is our very own power broker, as in he has no power and he's always broke all the time. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Yeah, I'm broke in a powerful way. I'm powerfully broke.
You're powerless broke ass. That's what we call you.
Yeah.
Power broke ass.
Power broken.
Listener, John Bellotti Jr. is not here right now, but he will be joining us later in the show.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
There he is,
Really?
of course. Yeah.
Wow.
He's going to help us review Godzilla versus Kong. Of course, he is our admin of our Facebook group and has a website, robo7.com, a talented illustrator. Check all that shit out and be excited. That's a tease. But before we get to that tease, we got other shit we got to talk about. Let's get into it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
So Marvel last week announced they're moving Black Widow from May to July 9th, and it's coming out on Disney Plus day and date,
Geek Boner.
which is amazing news, and they wasted no time in putting out a new trailer, and we got a couple of new trailers. 2 trailers.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Whoa, well, we got a trailer for Black Widow and a trailer for Loki. Did you watch the Loki trailer?
I did.
Okay.
I had no idea about this. That's why I'm shocked.
Oh, good. We got a shocked Rug Boy. That's just what I love.
Lame. Like, was there anything cool in the trailer?
Anthony, was there anything cool in the Black Widow trailer?
It was a lot of the same footage, but they did show, it looks like Black Widow as a kid. It was like a little teenage girl with blue hair, right? I think that was
Is that
Black
her?
Widow.
That's
I don't
supposed
know
to
if that
be
was
her?
Black Widow or if, I think it was, because they showed, what's the guy's name that's playing the red?
Red Guardian is the dude from Stranger Things. His name is Ruggs. What's his name?
Who are you talking to?
Hold on, let me
You want to know the actor's name?
Yeah.
The actor.
Oh, I'm
let me just. This is going great. Where is this?
David Harbour.
David Harbour.
You
yes.
get to see David Harbour like as a younger dude, and he's like, "Look at my girls," and like I don't know. I felt like they were trying to show like Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh's characters as little girls, like they've been a family, and then like she's coming back. So that was like some of the only new footage.
It's interesting because it starts.
fine.
Yeah, it starts with footage from like Endgame and all the old movies. You do see some sick Taskmaster fucking action sequences in the air and on the bridge. I enjoyed that little brief snippet, but yeah, not a lot of new stuff.
I mean, it's hard because it's like I think this is their 4th trailer they put
Yeah.
out because they did a full marketing campaign
And then it stopped.
and then they had to stop.
They're like,
so
hold
like
on.
they're reigniting it, but you don't want to show anymore.
No,
So
that was the thing, but you have to put out something to keep this in mind because it's coming out in a few months, and they pushed it back, and we need something, and this is what they give us. So I don't know. It's not really spoilery. It's just it is. It's just trying to stay in the public eye.
I think the character played by Rachel Weisz is going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, they're setting that up more. She's kind of like I've had to do it. Whatever. So you see her kind of admitting to something in this trailer.
I think she becomes a taskmaster, or she is the taskmaster.
Oh, you think it's her? The fucking action. Ooh. I'm excited to see this Taskmaster because this fucking action they're showing him do is dope. The suit looks dope. The sky sequence looks amazing. I hope it's more than what we see here. the show was happening. All right, well, let's talk about the other new trailer they just dropped, July 9th. So that's July 9th. Loki, Disney Plus series, they put out a new trailer. This is coming out June 11th. Ruggs, this is one you did have eyeballs open.
Yeah, I saw this.
Okay, what did you think of our first look at Loki?
It looks cool. It reminds me a lot of Future Man, which I just watched.
Oh, my
and it's like
God.
the same idea. Like he broke the timeline and has to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very funny that
That's a
I just
good
finished
point.
watching this show.
I love Future Man, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks cool. Like I feel like there is a production value to it that's interesting. I'm waiting to see, like, there's got to be a twist to this that like leads into something else, hopefully. But yeah, do you want to see Loki going through time, doing stuff? Sure, why not? How about you guys?
Anthony, what do you think? It looks like we have a multiple variant Lokis in this.
Yeah, I'm in. I mean, I've been in the bag for all these things. This trailer, I was like, this looks really freaking fun
And wacky.
and I mean, you have Owen Wilson, Tom Hiddleston, like messing with time. You have it's wacky. I mean, you have the sheets of paper that he has to sign for everything he's ever said.
That was a great joke.
It's just having fun with like the timeline and like having Loki travel through time and as Ruggs mentioned, if you want to see all that, this is there. And I think they're going to be able to tap into like some alternate universe type stuff too. So I like the idea of them recruiting Loki as a variant and the variant being someone that's trying to just keep the time stream in order. So it all just looks really fun.
Yeah, you got the organization called the Timekeepers, it was the Time Variant Authority in the comics, the TVA. And you're right, the chemistry, I can't wait to see the chemistry between Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. Like, this may be like a buddy cop jumping through time with a bunch of different Lokis, and he has to go and fix all these alternate realities. Also, you could bring back anybody who's dead in the MCU that you want and just put them in an alternate timeline and have them come back. Like, that's a lot of fun. And they might do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can't do that because they would be breaking the timeline.
No, it makes an alternate timeline.
Well,
Everything
you
they
can
do
use
branches
them
off.
in there. You can't take them out of that. though.
So here's my question. The show only happens because a variant Loki escapes from 2012 and fractures off the timeline, right? This whole show is going to be on its own timeline?
Yeah, because of the Tesseract.
Because of the
right?
Tesseract.
This show is going to be its own time. I think. Well, it's its own. It's still within the Marvel universe, but it's like we'll have to see. I think the time variant authority exists
To keep
outside
things in
of
check.
they exist outside of like everything else.
It's a lot like Umbrella Academy, too. Those fuckers had to keep the timeline. Yeah, remind me of that. But, yeah, I love Hiddleston in this, and I can't wait to see him fucking ham it up.
So do you think he has to go and steer everything back to a certain timeline so it doesn't keep breaking?
So I feel like, you know how you see at the end where you see him running for president kind of, and he has the pin and the helmet? I think he's got to go find these other Lokis and fix it because they're not supposed to exist. Maybe.
Okay.
Like the
I wanna
one,
see how they handle
yeah,
this.
like maybe the one, because there's a shot where everything's destroyed. The one variant can fix all the other variants, or who knows? But it just looks fun and it looks crazy.
I keep thinking of Future Man. Like
It's Future
when
Man,
he's there, and he's there doing something, and he's gonna try and fuck his own self up.
Right, go and escape and
something.
go back. But it's also like Umbrella Academy too, and a bunch of things that reminds me of very good stuff. Okay, let's get to this week's Falcon and Winter Soldier episode. Episode 3. Here's your spoilers.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
This episode's called Power Broker. Very simple. Anthony, what happens in Power Broker, episode 3?
Power Broker. Well, we ended up with at the end of the last episode with Falcon and Winter Soldier having to talk to Zemo.
Yep.
About Hydra and why there's super soldiers still floating around. So we picked up there, and they not only had to talk to him, they decide that Winter Soldier decided we got to break him out.
Fuck.
And now you're dealing with Zemo running around with the Winter Soldier and Falcon, and they got to go to this place called Madripoor to figure out why super soldier serum's going all around, and they figure out some things, and they figure out more dark history behind the super soldier serum and how it's getting to different people, and yeah, you just get a little bit more backstory into why it's floating around, where Sharon Carter's been, what kind of people the Flag Smashers are, and we're kind of alluding to maybe the Power Broker being the more overarching bad guy of this whole thing.
Yeah, big surprises, big, nice action, nice drama. Again, like you said, you got Zemo fucking Madripoor from X-Men universe.
Geek boner.
Sharon Carter shows up on a Wakandan, shows up at the end for the big reveal. What did you think, Anthony, overall, where we're headed with this?
You know, I still like it. I'm not like head over heels for it, but it's one of those shows where I like it. You know, and then I watch IGN does a really good review, so they review it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like they are kind of targeting these things. Like I like the backstory of there being the Captain America, and then this guy created another serum, and he was experimenting. It sounds like he was experimenting on Isaiah Bradley, right?
Yeah.
So like you have still even more inner turmoil for Sam as he's like trying to figure out, like, should I just destroy that shield? Like, is this shield really the symbol?
That was great. Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea. And then you have he was only in it for a little bit, but you have John Walker. Is that his name? John Walker?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's in it, and he like his whole mindset is because I am Captain America, I now have power. Like I am you need to listen to me.
Yeah,
because
it's not
I'm Captain
the right
America.
mindset.
Where Steve Rogers' mindset was, I need to live up to the mantle of this. Like I haven't earned anything. You will respect me because I will earn it,
dude. And nobody is respecting him. This dude gets spit on in the beginning. That would never fucking happen to Steve Rogers. Are you fucking kidding me? He would never be the person that you want to spit on, even though you're the bad guy. Ruggs, how you feeling? Episode 3, we're halfway done with the story.
This one kind of took me by surprise because I'm like, you're really gonna like bail out the guy who like killed the leader of the Wakandans and caused all this turmoil.
That's a good point.
Like he killed a world leader. Like he's not somebody who could just take out of jail. And if I was Sam, I would be like so pissed off. Like, you know, I was like, he destroyed like a black leader.
Yeah. So
you know, how is he should be like completely like fired up about this and like not accepting it.
Well, but that's why, you know, they do this the buddy cop TV show thing where, you know, I love how Bucky's like, hypothetically, let's say, what if I did this? Because he didn't tell him, and it shows you that, and all of this, the opening escape is kind of like, it's very elaborate. It's a little bit, you got to suspend disbelief a little bit, whatever. It is kind of cool, but it all happens before the opening credits. And very quickly, fucking Zemo is standing there and they got to go. So I'm torn. Like, I enjoyed a lot of the action, a lot of the surprises, the things that are popping up, but I have a couple of issues just with the pacing and where the show is at this point. Like you hinted to, Anthony, they're alluding to the Power Broker is the big bad, but like, where are the stakes right now? What's at stake right now? Who is the villain? It's still, we haven't got there.
How does this play out?
I don't know.
Well,
what do you think?
I mean, as far as like what are the stakes? I mean, we know that super soldier serum is circulating.
They stole 20 vials. They took 8 of them, so there's some out there.
We know that I think there's actually a decent amount of different things. I would be more concerned about the fact that I think they have a lot of, similar to WandaVision, they have a lot of balls that are in the air right now.
Yep.
And they're kind of juggling a few, like there's super soldier serum, there's the Flag Smashers are kind of doing their own thing. We kind of see like they have great intentions, but their ways are bad.
Right.
Then you have Sam dealing with the identity issue. You have there being another Captain America.
A lot of antagonists.
Winter Soldier trying to figure out, you know, how to integrate back into society where he fits in. And then you still have like Zemo now, who I don't think we're done with. So I think there's a lot.
And, you know, they do that thing in this episode where they got to go to a place to see a guy to get a name, to go to another place to see another guy to get another. But everyone dies along the way, which I thought was interesting.
Do you think that we see Sharon Carter again?
Absolutely.
And the rumor, people are speculating she's either the Power Broker or she works for the Power
Broker. Broker is Curtis. That's the guy.
Who's Curtis?
He's the real Power Broker, the actual character. They're not going to make her the Power Broker.
We haven't met the Power Broker yet, but I think she comes back. She was badass in this.
Also, I mean, you did have the thing where they go to the thing and they go to another thing, but they
You
staged
leave
it.
your cell phone on.
Yeah, they staged it in Madripoor though. So
Yes,
I know
so-
for Marvel, for anyone that's Marvel fan, they're
Fucking
like,
yeah.
oh, and like Madripoor, like, visually, I was like, oh, this is kind of like a cool looking city. I had more. I mean, it wasn't like exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I kind of imagined it to be like a little bit more Asian influenced.
Well, so the issue is, I see a lot of people write about this, and I love the way Madripoor kind of look like Hong Kong or like cyberpunk and the neon colors. The issue always was Madripoor was kind of a racist place in the comic
was
books.
it?
You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of like Asian bad stereotypes. It's just a lawless land run by fucking bounty hunters. And in the comics, Wolverine hung out there. He hid out there. He was a character named Patch. So there's a lot of mutants there. There's a lot of Wolverine friends. There's no reference to that, of course. I think there was a bar they showed, like the Pink Lady bar that was in the comics, in Wolverine comics. But somebody had mentioned that Madripoor, little bit racist in the cast, so they kind of just changed that and made it this dangerous place. And the Power Broker runs it, so that's kind of interesting. Zemo has been rich this whole time. We find out. I thought that was interesting. Didn't know he had money.
He's Baron.
Yeah,
He is the Baron, and they're calling him Baron Zemo. How about that Skull Island reference? Speaking of Godzilla versus Kong, where Sam is like, Madripoor, you guys talk about it like a Skull Island. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit.
Well, does Marvel still have any of that copyright?
They used to make Godzilla and Kong comics, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the whole scene where Sam has to be the smiling tiger pimp and Bucky has to be the Winter Soldier and fucking pretend to take orders from Zemo and beat people up, but he kind of enjoys it.
Yes. He did exactly that. I don't know. It was fine. I was not really on board with this whole Zemo being buddy with them and shit like that. I just didn't. I'm not buying it.
You didn't buy it?
No.
I did find. I mean, I like the premise.
People like Zemo though. People are like, "Oh, Zemo dancing." I'm like, I don't want to see Zemo be dancing. He fucking killed the leader of a fucking country.
I did find it. I like the premise of like you have to work with the bad guy. I did question like the first time he meets Sam. Like he says like a little joke, like they do a little Marvel joke.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, should I?" Like something along the lines like should I have been here or whatever, or like something where he's like, I forgot exactly what he said, but it was like, "Oh, no, I shouldn't have said that." All right, never mind. And it was like, "Oh, like Zemo was like a really serious character in Civil War."
They
and
kind
now
of
he's
making him
like,
jokey.
and then you cut to him like doing a little dance, and I was like, "Huh." This is interesting.
I think Daniel Bruhl is doing a fantastic job. Every movie,
I think he's fine with the material. I just question the like the I didn't. He's not the same Zemo that he was in Civil War.
But I just like how every move he makes, it's almost like this was meant to happen and he's already figured this out. But I loved how you thought he was going to take off and he puts the fucking blue mask on and then saves their ass and comes back. He doesn't run. Or purple, sorry. It looks great.
Was that even necessary?
No, I don't know why he had to
he
put that
shot
on.
people.
Just look cool.
Because, I don't know.
But they needed his help in his car to get out
I
there.
agree with you, Imran. I enjoyed like his chemistry with them. I just didn't feel like it was Zemo anymore.
Yeah, it's drifting from that badass Zemo. So he's Zemo.
I would have felt like I feel like he's just not as dangerous or not as cunning right now as he was, and just him like dancing was like this is weird.
See, I feel like he's
strange.
playing into that. He was Zemo.
Well, all of a sudden he can fight too.
Oh well, I thought he always could. Well, I thought he could fight because he was Zemo, and he's just like Baron Zemo can fight, shoot.
Not in Civil War.
In Civil War he just seems like a regular, ordinary guy.
Yeah, that's true.
In Civil War, he was built up more as just like he had all this time, and he was just like almost a pathological, like planning. Like he was just so like one track mind. Like I have to do this one thing, and this will like fulfill my life. And now, I mean, he's still like anti, heroes are enhanced, but he's also like got a plane, and he's like joking around with his like
with
guy,
his butler.
Like, his butler like will feed him the rotten stuff or whatever. And it's just like, okay.
But that
whatever.
moment in the plane where he's like, "Look, the problem with superheroes is you put them on a pedestal and you don't see their flaws, and that's how we get a Red Skull." And then them tying that in at the end. Sam going, I should have just destroyed the fucking shield instead of giving it up. So Sharon Carter shows up for the save when they're about to eat it, and we find out that she is on the run from the law. They cleared fucking Winter Soldier's name. they never cleared her name, and she's in Madripoor selling real art, like real Monets and Van Goghs, because everything in the museums are fake, which I thought that was funny. But it's kind of weird that she didn't get a second chance from the government. I would be a little bit more bitter when I,
obviously.
be like, what the fuck? So he promises to clear her name, but that sucks for Sharon Carter. I thought that was weird.
Yeah. Well, especially she's like the niece of like a national hero.
Right?
Like they would give
You
her
think
a
they
shot.
cut her some slack. Jesus.
I feel like they really haven't known what to do with Sharon Carter throughout this whole thing because it's comics are weird, and you have Cap hooking up with her aunt and then hooking up with her niece. Like, so comics are weird. They don't really know where she fits. So I think they just were like, all right, like, let's just do the thing that no one's going to expect, right? So, like, let's make Sharon Carter an outlaw in Madripoor, and she is now, like, basically, like, gray, like, living in the gray. Like, she's, like, a black arms dealer or whatever she is. So I think they were just like, let's just do something with this character that no one expects, because her character's been like completely bland and boring throughout this whole thing.
That fucking shipping container scene was dope. She was badass, brutal. She held off all the bounty hunters while they fucked around in that shipping container.
Yeah. It was like John Wick shit.
Oh my God. She was just waiting, and the guy turned and she pops him. I was like, fuck, dude. Sharon Carter is badass. So that was great to see. Let's mention when they find that guy Nagel. They go to the girl Selby, and then she dies, and then she sends him to Nagel. Nagel, his story is he figured out how to recreate the super soldier serum for Hydra, which was then part of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then he got blipped, and then he came back and started working for the power broker, and he made 20 vials, and his version is better. It's more subtle. It's optimized, which should explain why these people aren't jacked up. So you would take this, and I guess your body stays the same physically. You just have strength and power. You're going to look normal. I thought that was an interesting difference.
It just makes your muscles denser and your bones denser.
Yeah, so you don't physically see it, but then Zemo fucking shoots Nagel.
Oh, shit.
That was crazy. And then before they have time, a fucking rocket hits them. We also see a little bit of the Flag Smasher stuff and Carly.
Yeah, you basically at this point you're like, it was just to show you, even though they have great intent, they are not people that like are.
She
should be
killed
like, it's
some
similar to
innocent
like
people.
What they tried to do with Michael B. Jordan's character Killmonger.
Yes,
where it's
Barry
like,
Killmonger.
I can see where you're going up until this point. Now you've crossed the line.
That was fucked up. When the guy's like, "There's innocent people in there," and she's like, "Nobody's innocent." And a fucking and then so there's a woman, Danya Madani, who dies, who's like her mentor, her mother figure, her teacher. I'm not sure what was going on there, but they're going to find her.
I didn't really quite get that.
No,
I think she was like, she stole the serum, and she was trying to get that guy that made the new serum to help her with tuberculosis.
Oh yeah, she had
unclear.
TB. Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe she
probably wanted to use the serum to like cure her.
Oh yeah.
So now she has nothing to lose, Carly Morgenthau, if that lady's dead. So and then the very end, Bucky notices little round metal widgets, and at first it didn't even occur to me. I should have been like, oh fuck, I've seen those before. And,
didn't occur to me either.
Right? And he follows them around the corner, and it reveals a fucking Wakandan Dora Milaje warrior. This is Ayo, played by Florence Kasumba. She's found him and all she says is, "I'm here for Zemo," because like you just said, yes, he fucking killed the King T'Chaka, and they didn't forget. And Wakanda is probably like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is Zemo doing out in the country?"
That's another thread now that they've created with this episode.
That's fun. I like that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then
we're halfway through the show.
I know that's it. 3 hours. There's only 3 left. The one bit I thought was kind of funny and just awkward, like Sam when he had this phone rang in the middle of the meeting. Like, you don't put that shit on vibrate. The fuck? You're not gonna turn off your phone when you're going in pretending to play a pimp that you're not drinking snake parts and shots, and you got a fucking phone.
I saw an article that was basically like for Sebastian Stan, where random people are coming up to him if they see him at a coffee shop, and they start saying the Russian words to get him to turn
they're
into
trying to activate him. They do what the fuck?
And he always is like, this is fucking so stupid and
they're
crazy.
Like 17 lasagna.
But they say, I don't know if they're saying it in Russian.
Theater. I don't know. Oh,
it's
yeah,
like rusted 17. I forgot.
What the words
like.
are. So yeah, 3 hours in. This is still my only issue. Like I mentioned before, like Where's the villain? Where's the stakes? These abrupt endings are kind of weird. This one, I especially felt like I'm just watching a part of a movie. Like it just starts. The beginning was great. The ending was kind of weird. The last one had an abrupt ending. But I don't know, which is fine. It's 6 hours. I'm watching a part of a movie.
Do you think these are all going to intersect? So, okay, we have Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
We have Power Broker. We have John Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Wakanda.
Now we got the Wakandans. We got Zemo.
How do they all intersect? Are they all, I mean, they're obviously the Power Broker's going to be the point of intersection.
Who is
where they're all going to cross?
the Power Broker?
Yeah, the Power Broker. I feel like at some point, John Walker's character is going to come across the Power Broker, and he's just going to get.
Oh, he fights.
That's
him.
how he's going to get enhanced.
Oh, yes. That's kind of what happens in the comics. Him and Battlestar possibly can be a situation where they're like, look, we need this to keep up and fight these people.
Potentially, here's where I kind of see it. The Power Broker and John Walker come across each other, and Power Broker's like, these Flag Smashers, I got to kill them. And John Walker's like, I got to get rid of them too.
Yeah.
So he's going to be like, okay, here, I'll take this serum, and you take care of it for me. And I think the Power Broker is also going to be somehow tied to the Global Repatriation Council.
So yeah, let's talk about that in the beginning.
Because they're like this, as you mentioned, or you were about to probably say,
yeah,
they're like this org that is like overarching and like trying to help people come back from the blip, get reintegrated. But then you see their truck is the one that drops off John Walker.
That they used to roll up on these fuckers. Yeah, like the U.S.
So it's like big government, but it's like you think they're like good, but they're not. They don't have great intentions.
I love that opening. It opened with a commercial, and it kind of like reminded me of WandaVision for a little bit. The Global Repatriation Council commercial, and they're like, restore, reset, rebuild. We're here to help you back and get you accustomed to the new laws and the new way. And it's so wild. And then instantly they show you this fucking Gestapo rolling up on these people. And the dude spits on his face. That's fantastic. Listen, fucking squishy face Captain America deserves to get spit on.
Oh my God.
At this point.
Did he put out something like he was
Are people spitting on him in real life? Is that what's going to happen?
He's been the punching bag for like a couple of weeks now.
Somebody wrote an article. People, like some of the fans are like, hey, you got to separate the actor from the character. Don't fucking, send death threats to Wyatt Russell. He's not.
Well, you shouldn't.
No, you should. But like, what kind of idiot is doing that? Really? I think it's a testament to his acting that we hate him so much. He's playing it right.
Yeah, I mean, they've cast a very hateable face.
Yes, they have. It's great.
Go ahead, Rex. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's funny that they cast this guy. He tried out to be Cap. He didn't get it, but now he's like pseudo Cap, and he's just not quite cutting the mustard. And we're supposed to think that that's why they cast him like that. So it's all working. It's just working too well.
It's working too good. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Also, at the end, what's happening? I kind of was like the plot seemed to have stopped briefly at the end of this episode. Like it wasn't, they were going to see the lady who died to see if Carly was there, but they're like 3 steps behind.
Who's they?
Zemo and Bucky and Sam.
Is that where they were going?
I think so. Were they in Latvia? It was confusing.
I think that this is a backdoor for Zemo to rise as a villain for Captain America.
Could they bring in like a Dr. Doom in this, maybe?
So somewhere along the line, Zemo becomes Zemo here, like the Baron Zemo that we know.
You think he's free at the end of the show?
Yeah, I think that I think that the Wakandans want him, and they're going to get him and take him back to Wakanda or take him back to prison or something, and he has his ducks in a row, and somehow he's now a villain out there.
You got to imagine Zemo is several steps ahead of everyone, but he was also shocked when Bucky told him that somebody's making super soldier serum. He seemed like or maybe he was just trying to act shocked. I don't know with fucking Zemo. Daniel Bruhl.
Do you think
great.
Zemo would take it?
The serum?
I don't know I don't know.
No, I think he hates the serum. Maybe he'll take the serum. Use the serum to fight the serum. That's what Zemo would do. Listener, join our Facebook group. Get involved with the conversation. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It's closed. It's just for you. There are spoiler threads for every episode. Here's a couple of comments from our listeners from this week. Daryl K. said a bit disappointed there wasn't some random bartender with an eye patch in the background just to stir the speculative shit. Oh my God, if they could have put a guy with an eye patch back there, they would have broke the internet and fucked with everyone. It would have been so mean.
And then someone would have been like, not get it, and they'd be like, it's gotta be Mephisto.
It's Mephisto. I know. There's Mephisto is definitely in this. Hamad Akbar Khan says, Sharon Carter, that's it. That's the comments.
Geek Boner.
Dylan McCandless says Zemo is delightful. Him dancing in the club was priceless. People see.
He liked it.
People like it.
I think a lot of people liked
But
it.
Zemo is dancing briefly. Chris Williams goes, I like when Bucky goes Winter Soldier. Yeah, that was great. And Bucky likes it too. Steve Lee says, is Carter the power broker? Has to be some connection there, right? Damn it, someone stop me before I speculate the whole series like WandaVision. It's Mephisto. That's the power broker.
That's Mephisto.
Lisa Morrison says Zemo is gold. Daniel Bruhl is fantastic. Makes me want to like him. He's great in this. Chaz Hubbard goes, Zemo being in this episode made my wife want to watch Civil War for the second time. When it came out, she said BVS was better.
What?
She has since realized the error of her ways. And then he also just posted Falcon and Winter Soldier better than WandaVision. Well, it was a statement. Bracket.
Well, why don't we do this? We're halfway through. What do we think? Do we like it so far?
Fuck.
No, I mean, we're at the mid-series.
I'm enjoying it. I just question some of the things that they're doing, but I am enjoying it.
The way I see it playing out for Ruggs is downhill.
Oh, no, it's not going to get any better from here.
I just feel like Marvel they're not going to be able to hit it for him in the way he's going to expect. So that's just my prediction.
I'm enjoying it, and I love the action, but at the same point in WandaVision, I don't know. They gave us a lot to chew on in different ways.
Yeah.
And it was a little more exciting. So maybe this is a little underwhelming.
Now that I know. No, I think after you got through WandaVision, where you had the potential to like open up anything because Wanda can do that, right?
Right.
Wanda's the gateway character that can like, she's a world building character. She could change anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't take it there.
They didn't really do that.
They dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
My expectations for this to actually have lasting effects on the Marvel Universe is low, other than maybe, okay, now we have Baron Zemo back, and now we have U.S. Agent, and that's the what we get out of this, which is fine. And having another badass bad guy, but
building.
Traditionally Zemo doesn't have powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he's disfigured and shit like that. But like this Zemo, he was like kind of more of a mastermind than anything, which is cool. Yes, I'm not really like seeing the payoffs of these shows yet in the universe, but they are. This one's entertaining at least. The last episode I liked a little bit more entertaining than this one, but this one has some good Sharon Carter stuff. So every episode has a little.
They
something
have
for
ocean
me.
moments.
Yeah.
I think I need to see the cumulative in this one
Sure.
more than even WandaVision.
I'm kind of with you, Imran, for the first time in a long time.
Whoa!
In that I
Shit.
felt like WandaVision, I just was having a little bit more, because it was just so different and new.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of like mystery to chew on that I was having a lot more fun with it.
Yeah.
Not to say that I don't like this show. 'Cause
Right.
I do like this show as well. And I think there's still a lot of very good threads that they're weaving. I'll say that I think both of these shows, I think what they're accomplishing in terms of like the overall big picture is I think these shows are a good outlet for characters like to kind of decompress.
Yes.
And like let characters just kind of be normal and do different things. Like you'd never really see in a Marvel movie the stuff with Sam having to deal with like a bank loan or talking to his sister randomly.
I love it. Yeah.
Like in the movies, it kind of was like every movie has to be an event.
They don't have time for that in the movie.
Yeah, they don't have time to like sit down and like kind of deal with the fallout. So I like that these shows are dealing with the fallout of the blip.
It's a great way to bolster characters.
Yes.
You're like, okay, let's prop up these characters to be more than, they have like 4 lines in this movie. Okay. Like in a Cap movie, there's going to be a side ancillary character. So you take these side characters, you build them up, and then you can now tentpole with them.
No, you're right. The both shows have done phenomenally. You get to spend more time with these people who really didn't have a lot of time. Once you add up all the minutes, you see them in brief. So the character building they're doing and for Sam and Bucky is fantastic. And again, I do, just like the Mark Spellman said in that interview, I think everyone's going to be at a different place at the end. So whereas it was more fun to watch WandaVision episodically, this is literally, it's just like chunks of this long, awesome movie
Right.
that gets to breathe and take its time. And it is doing it well. It's just a different lane, right? But then it also makes me really excited for Loki. Seeing what we just saw, like, I'm going to get a little bit of the wackiness from WandaVision, a little bit of the action from this. Maybe that's combined there. That looked amazing. So
I feel like the production value was
it's phenomenal. No, it's top notch, dude. You can't fault the production on this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
good.
has less water cooler talk, though.
It does.
Yeah,
Definitely.
there is less. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is less. I don't feel the weekly buzz that like WandaVision was getting. Whereas like if for a while, up until like the end, I felt like it was just like over like every week it just kept building.
They spoiled us with that. Yeah,
you know, like every week the conversation was like, what's going to happen? What's happening next? Where are they going? Who's coming out? And this one, I don't feel. Maybe that's a good thing in terms of like at the end because people won't be disappointed, but I don't feel that buzz of like what's going to happen.
No.
Who's going to premiere? Who's going to show up? Like there's not that like, I guess there's not that buzz of like the character, like what will this open up in the Marvel universe?
You see it in that comment, the user comments, like I'm going to friggin' speculate the whole series like WandaVision. Like people are learning to stop themselves from doing that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like I don't want to go and waste my time again.
Yeah.
But this is less of a water cooler show. This is less of a buzzy show. I don't know how it's doing in the ratings, but you know, if it's WandaVision's destroying it or was it the same? I don't know. That's another thing. That'd be interesting to know. But 3 more episodes. That's it.
3 more. We'll see how that plays out. I'm curious to see if this will be an ongoing show or if this is just a limited series like WandaVision seems like.
You know, with the way I have it set up with the title, you could easily do multiple seasons and not worry about, you know, where they are in the MCU, where with WandaVision, that's a one and done. You can't fucking do that again.
I feel like the characters too, right? Like Sam and Bucky kind of lend themselves to doing like mission of the week type stuff or like whereas Wanda, that's a character like she does. You got to do some big shit with that character. You can't always just like have her in like her own little show.
Yeah, this show reminds me a little bit of like Person of Interest drugs, a little bit, right? With like the mission and just the guy being a badass, kicking ass.
Yeah, of course.
But this is less episodic, and it is just chunks of a movie. We got 3 chunks left.
3 chunks. That was your nickname in high school,
3 chunks
right?
was my nickname in high school. How did you know? Did you meet someone? Did you read my yearbook? Hey, 3 chunks. Keep in touch over summer. Have a great summer.
I don't normally laugh at my own jokes, so that's really cheesy. But
son of a
I like
bitch.
that.
Well, if you enjoy cheesy jokes, listener, you should buy some of our podcast swag to show your love. Visit jockandnerd.com/shop. We got T-shirts.
Get a shirt that says 3 chunks.
I'm going to have to make one that says 3 chunks. Jock and Nerd, 3 chunks strong. I'll make one of those T-shirts. But you can get our logo on mugs and notebooks, pillows, T-shirts, hoodies, little things, little onesies for your kids. And there is a sale this week, April 7th and 8th. Everything's up to 35% off. And then there's another sale next week, April 14th through 16th. Save money and get some podcast swag. Let's take a break here. Play some promos. We're going to come back. And John Bellotti Jr. is going to be here.
Oh, shit.
Like magic to help us.
He reappeared.
Yes, he's going to teleport in.
He's going to blip back in.
So we can geek out about Godzilla versus Kong right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? This is Logan at Mostly Superheroes, a podcast that was partly inspired by the Jock and Nerd podcast. We talk about a lot of the same stuff, MCU, DC heavy, with other content that comes out of HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and more. We're committing to doing something new every day in 2021, so come join the fun, check out the schedule. Find us at mostlysuperheroes.com and enjoy the rest of the show.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted, and this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
And nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show and want to show your love and give back and support the show, make sure we keep making shows every week. Join our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And for as little as $3 a month, you'll be part of our exclusive producer Patreon community. You will get access to a bonus RSS feed where there's exclusive bonus bullshit posted there. Movie reviews, Corona binge reports, jock talks, instant reactions. I posted an instant reaction to Falcon and Winter Soldier, this new episode that we've talked about. I want to say thank you to listener and patron Blake Braden for increasing his support.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Fuck yeah.
Isn't it great when every week you hear something like this? It's not
Yes,
amazing.
you got to keep it going. Somebody do something this week so I can shout you out next week. All that fun stuff. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Let's get to the review, everybody. It's Godzilla versus Kong. Sorry, that came in. That came in hot and loud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, there's something you expect. You fucking spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
And of course, we may have mentioned this before, but John Bellotti is here, our illustrious admin of the group. Bellotti, how are you? Thanks for joining us for this Geek Out, Godzilla Geek Out.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a while since I've been on the show, but this is kind of preordained from like over a year ago when we knew the movie was coming out. So here I am, ready to tear this movie a new asshole.
That's right. Well, we did have you on for King of the Monsters, but I think this is a much better movie to have you on.
Was I on? Wait, was I on for King of the Monsters?
No, I neglected to reach out because I'm an asshole.
So you pin me, you pigeonhole me as the Godzilla guy,
and then
but you
don't even give you the call.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay,
well, look,
this is the kind of friend Imran really
You know what?
is.
That movie, whatever. This is the movie I want you here for. This is
sure it is
right.
Sure
this is the fourth American Godzilla movie, and then how many?
Third.
Is it?
It's the third.
I thought it's the third.
No, fourth Monsterverse, third Godzilla movie. Well, if you count the TriStar, I guess it's the fourth.
I'm counting the TriStar.
I blocked that from my brain.
I'm counting the TriStar.
That would be the fourth American Godzilla.
Yes.
Oh, he is right.
Yeah, he is.
Fuck you guys, and you're the Godzilla experts. And how many?
When Imran's right, I hate it.
How many Toho movies, Bellotti, have there been so far?
78.
36 total. 36 minus 4.
That's 32.
32. There you go.
Why would you
Math is hard.
just say 32?
Because I failed math twice.
Okay.
Lay off.
And anybody know the number of U.S. Kong movie this is?
Like 12 or something?
Yes. Nailed it, Rug Boy. 12 U.S.
Wow.
Kong
I read the
movies.
show notes.
US?
Yeah.
Oh, no. 12th Kong movie. There's 10 U.S. Kong movies, 2 Japanese Kong movies. Before we review this, since this was like, HBO and Warner Brothers' big announcement this year, they were going to let all their movies on HBO Max and in the theaters day and date, which I love.
Geek Boner.
How did everybody watch this, John Bellotti?
I watched it HBO Max with my wife on a Wednesday night with a big bowl of popcorn. It was amazing.
And how many times have you watched it?
I've only watched it once.
Okay. Anthony?
Anthony? I also watched it on the Wednesday night it was released on HBO Max.
On the Max.
On the Max. I watched it only one time in full, but I've watched the fight scenes numerous times after.
Absolutely. Rug Boy.
I watched it in New York City.
Holy shit.
In IMAX with the legendary artist Dope Pope.
Oh,
at my
you
side.
watched it with Dope Pope? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So it was
IMAX.
my first movie back in the theater.
Holy shit.
And it was there was everybody that was at the theater was there for this movie.
How did it feel?
Well, luckily they had a 50-person maximum in the theater.
Yeah.
So imagine an IMAX movie. It's just like this huge cavernous thing with only 50 people in it. It's like not even anywhere near a quarter full.
You got tons of room.
So yeah, it was tons of room, tons of everybody had masks on. Everybody was pretty chill. There was a lot of weed though.
What?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
My kind
there was
of
a lot of people was openly smoking weed in the theater.
God, I miss New York City.
But yeah, I saw it, and then at home, I watched the film in its entirety maybe twice more.
Wow!
And then I watched the action sequences like if I have nothing else to do, I'll put one on and just watch it again.
That's fun. Yeah,
you know how lame I am. I'm just thinking about why I didn't watch it again. I had off on Friday, and I did a lot of artwork in the morning, and I put on the movie Cocktail.
What?
While I was drawing instead of Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh, okay.
You know Cocktail with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, great movie, but
it's an awesome movie. And I was like, I'll put on Cocktail. I didn't even think to put on Godzilla vs. Kong.
Dude, you should have just have.
You really aren't the Godzilla guy.
That's because I was watching the Millennium films. I watched the Kiryu saga when I was like, Mecha
You love
Godzilla.
the Kiryu saga.
I didn't until this movie made me love it because I was like, this movie sucks. I'm gonna watch the Kiryu saga. This is much better. So that's what happened. So a good thing came out of that.
Wait, did you change your opinion already on the movie? You were in the chat going, this movie, I loved it. I was smiling from ear to ear. What are you talking about now?
Yeah, I changed my opinion.
Already?
Wow. After one time.
Because I think there is an opinion that you have when you watch the movie, and then when people talk to you, and then, of course, if you're the guy that everyone knows that likes Godzilla, they're gonna love to shit on your day, so they're gonna come and tell you how much it sucks.
I had our cousins. We went for a walk down to Janine's cousin's house in Brooklyn, and the guy next door came out. He saw my Godzilla mask. He's like, "Did you see it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I wanted to see that Nobody film, but I saw this, and it was fucking awful." So I had everyone at work today. Someone came up to me, "Yo, I saw that Godzilla and Kong. Yo, it fucking sucked." So every day since then, I have not heard one good thing.
You're getting it from everywhere.
Stay strong, man.
Yeah,
stay strong.
How can you stay strong with a weak foundation like that? Like there's no defending it. Like what are you going to say?
All right,
we'll see. We'll talk about it.
I watched it on HBO Max, and I watched it twice, and the second time watching the action scenes, I would rewind and watch again. So it was like 2.5 times. On Rotten Tomatoes, you guys, it is now sitting at 75%, 6.4 out of 10. So it was a little bit higher, went down a little bit. Box office wise, here's the interesting thing that the experiment is putting out a movie on HBO Max, stay in date, as well as the theaters. Is that going to hurt the box office? And I think there's a number of reasons right now, obviously, that this went kind of well. Even before it opened in the U.S., it had made $122 million overseas. The budget was around $160 to $200 million. 5-day opening total, it makes $48.5 million.
Oh, shit.
In the first 5 days. It's currently sitting at $285 million worldwide, which is
It's more than almost as much as the King of the Monsters did in his whole run.
Yes, it is. It is. The King of the Monsters opening weekend was about $47 million, and this thing has already made that much domestically in the 5. So. This thing is huge. It's doing mad numbers. Any thoughts on this?
But you know what? It wasn't like an easy roll of the dice here because you see that Marvel flinched and moved back Black Widow.
Yep.
They had no faith in people going back to theaters.
Yeah.
So now it'll be interesting that obviously this movie, I didn't know it was going to open that big at all, but it did.
One knew.
Yeah.
Because I think the trailer was so good. And it really started this whole thing.
I think it's a number of things. It's people are getting vaccinated. The capacities were opening. And this thing's actually the 3,064 theaters.
Oh, shit.
This is like the widest release of a movie yet and the best it's done.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's, in hindsight, I think it's the perfect movie coming out where it's just mindless, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
People have been look like this is a movie a lot of people would want to see in a movie theater.
Yeah.
So you have that. You have people getting vaccinated. You have people not giving a fuck anymore and just like, I'm getting out. And you have a movie that comes out that is just like, the title alone just screams fun. And I'm sure a lot of these people probably didn't even see King of the Monsters. They don't give a fuck about that.
It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
And the word of mouth I've heard from everyone has been like, this is exactly what I expected, and it's what I wanted to see in a movie theater at this point.
Bellotti, this thing did what Christopher Nolan was trying to do with Tenet and didn't. How does that make you feel? Come on, that's good, right?
Well, it's exactly like Tony said. It's everyone has been home. Everyone has watched every movie imaginable, right? Like how many like Dog Day afternoons are you going to watch where it's just like, okay, or like movies with social or political messages, like, you know, every other Netflix movie. And I'm watching Godzilla vs. Kong, and I'm like, I don't have to think.
Yeah.
This is refreshing. They're just punching. I love it. That's all I wanted. And I had a really crazy day last week, so I just wanted to come home and unwind and not like, you know, like these movies, some of these movies like demand your attention, you know, like David Fincher, like his movies, you have to be in them, or Kurosawa or Scorsese. Christopher Nolan. So, like, to think that Tenet was going to be the movie, like, that guy's so fucking full of himself.
Yes, that was. I mean, I don't know why he thought that movie.
These are the movies that get people into theaters. This is like an ass and seat kind of movie.
Absolutely.
So.
I couldn't be happier that this thing is doing so well. The movie directed by.
You couldn't be happier.
Well, I'm sure you're.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
Him too.
But it's so great. I just feel great that like the Godzilla vs. Kong is the one that's hitting home. Directed by Adam Wingard, who is also working on the Face Off reboot. Let's not forget that movie. And is
he doing that?
Yeah, he's doing the Face Off reboot, and it was announced that he's going to be doing live action CG Thundercats movie, which is fucking fantastic. The movie's written story by Terry Rossio, Michael Dougherty, and Zach Shields. Screenplay.
Too many people.
That's a lot of people. Screenplay by two more people. Eric Pearson, Max Borstein. So that's 5 people writing this. Max Borstein, though, has written on all of the MonsterVerse movies so far.
He needs to go, but okay.
Yes. Music by Junkie XL. And I think also we have to note the guys playing Kong and Godzilla. Terry Notary is playing Kong in this movie, and he played Kong in Skull Island.
He plays like every ape. He's in like the Planet of the Apes movies.
I mean, he's as good as Andy Serkis is from what I can see here. Yeah. You know? And then TJ Storm, who has played Godzilla in 3 MonsterVerse films, including this one. The cast features people, and you know what? Doesn't really matter. Like, who gives a fuck about these people?
We don't really know.
You got the fucking girl from Stranger Things and one of the Skarsgårds. What else and Brian Tyree Henry. What else do you need to know?
Guy from Eternals, the kid from Deadpool 2.
The kid from Deadpool from New Zealand. The guy from Friday Night Lights who was in the other movie.
Yeah.
The hot girl.
Kyle Chandler's in it again.
Yes. So
she is very, very good looking.
Eliza Gonzalez.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She's very good Eliza. Or Isa. Sorry, Isa Gonzalez.
She's in I Care a Lot, too.
Oh, she is.
She's the girlfriend of Rosamund
It's going
Pike.
to make me care even more.
That definitely makes me care. All right, Anthony, plot me. What happens in Godzilla vs. Kong?
Yeah, this is going to be the quickest plot summary.
Other than Godzilla versus Kong, let's actually, I'll give it its due. Basically, Godzilla's attacking humans. They don't know why. There's a nefarious organization called Apex that is looking for the Hollow Earth to tap into some sort of energy source. They feel like Kong is the only way to get into that energy source, so they lead an expedition with Kong to find this energy source in Hollow Earth, and Godzilla is in their way, and there is madness.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, Bellotti, you're our guest. Opening thoughts when this movie ended before everyone ruined it for you by telling you it sucked at work.
Oh, they didn't ruin it. The movie did a great job at that.
But go back to the first time you saw it, when it ended. What were you thinking?
The pretense this? I don't know. On
Preface?
Yes.
That's the
on
word.
Sunday, I watched Jackie Chan's Police Story because it was on HBO Max.
Okay.
And I'm like, I put it on and I'm like, oh my God, the beginning is great. The middle just sucks. And then the ending is incredible, right? One of the greatest action endings of any action movie of all time. So then I put on Godzilla vs. Kong and I'm like, this is a fucking Jackie Chan movie. There's really no difference. It opens up incredible, right? With Godzilla's attack.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is Kong monkeying around, right? We got to get Kong over here. We got to get him over there. And then it's that ending. It's that incredible, incredible ending.
Yeah.
And I was just smiling the whole time, like they were fighting. And I was like, the human stuff was terrible, as it always was expected to be. But this time it was even more terrible because they were just like doing these total plot devices. Like, we have to get to this point, so we're going to do this. And I need to borrow Kong. I don't want to. Please? Okay. A lot of shit like that. Yeah, that whole ending. I mean, it was just like nonstop. And there was no, what they fucked up in King of the Monsters is that you'd have Ghidorah coming at you at the screen, and then they'd cut away to Millie Bobby Brown, and nobody would give a shit.
Why?
Right?
Yeah, I'd be like, why are you cutting away from the fight now?
Yeah, like, why are you cutting away? And it's obscure, and I'm like, this sucks. And this movie, they were like, we don't fucking care. It's just monsters fighting, banging dicks, swinging from buildings, Godzilla smiling. It was awesome. I mean, I was pumped. And
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's like totally awesome. So I was all like jacked up, and then all of us were like talking in our text message the next day. And then when my cousin and my brother watched it and they found out I liked it, they pretty much ripped me apart for like my entire lunch break the next day.
No.
And then I'm talking to you guys, and we're all like, "Oh my god, what about that part?" So yeah, that was really my takeaway. And then it's one of those things. It's like you watch it, you go, "That was cool." But if you start thinking about it, you're going to start hating it. So you just have to just hold on to that original sort of feeing.
The original joy.
Yes, the choreography, the directing, and those action sequences.
That's all you need.
It's like we compared it to Rug Boy compared it to Tom Yong-gun with Tony Jaa, right?
Yeah.
He just looks for his elephant and he beats up half of Australia. And you don't care because you just want to see the action scenes, and they're incredible. You don't care about the story, right?
That's my takeaway from this is that, like, if you try and rationalize it as a good movie, you really can't.
Yeah.
There's no way, because I immediately wanted to rewrite the movie after I saw it, because I was like, how could they just not do this and make it easier?
Right.
And like, get rid of all these characters and just concentrate on this. I can't say that it didn't deliver on the promise of the fucking fight that was totally what I've been wanting since the first Godzilla movie. Now, notwithstanding the fact that the first Godzilla movie had a really good fight scene, but it would constantly cut to other things. And not only that, but they teased you with there was a fight in the beginning that they cut away from completely.
And it was pretty short too in that first movie.
So you had like one fight in that Godzilla movie, right? You really had one. This one you had three distinct
You got three
fights.
awesome fucking battles,
And
which is
they
great.
and they didn't cut away at any of them. Like, really, like, unless it was like, okay, someone had to release Kong from the chains. Okay, that's necessary.
No, but you could see all the moves here. It looks amazing.
You weren't missing anything. They weren't concentrating on somebody else in the foreground while shit was like, like John said, like in the King of the Monsters, Millie Bobby Brown or the guy from Friday Night Lights was in the foreground running around, and then Mothra's fighting Road. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Why can't I see that? So I was just so elated that someone finally put the camera and not only that, but like, made an interesting fight that felt like a Showa fight scene, like with people body slamming each other and shit. Like, a lot of that stuff was there. So I felt like, yes, I know it's a shitty movie, but it's giving me something that I've been waiting for years.
Yeah.
So
since
I was
2014, yeah.
So I was like, I was promised big tits, and I got to see the big tits.
You got your movies. Anthony, to me, parts of this movie are like a fucking WWE fucking wrestling match. What did you think? What did they get right here?
I'm going to echo a lot of what these guys said. They delivered on the promise of the premise. The premise is Godzilla versus Kong. You got to see that in full display the entire time. You got to see, even when they weren't fighting, granted the humans are whatever, but come on, you're watching a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
How many Godzilla movies actually have great human characters? I didn't grow up as a fan of Godzilla movies as a kid, not rewinding past the human character parts just to get to the fights. As long as the fights deliver, I've always been good with a Godzilla movie that has good fights. And if you're coming into this with like a critic's mindset and like very analytical about the whole thing, like, of course you're not going to like it. I can't say that the human characters are good. I will say that it's paced way better than King of the Monsters. Yeah. I think it's paced much better than Godzilla 14. I think it's probably the best pacing as far as like monster action, like even the stuff that isn't monster stuff where they're following Kong. You get to kind of see like Kong doing different things you go to Hollow Earth.
Scratching
this
his
movie's
ass.
fucking bonkers.
Yeah, Hollow Earth's
in terms
crazy.
of like going into Hollow Earth, wormholes.
We'll get into that.
It's the best that the monsters have ever looked.
Wow.
Absolutely. By far. The best. I mean, Hong Kong, the way it's lit up at night.
The colors.
It's a fucking beautiful backdrop. the animals are like fighting and they're doing like WWE type stuff, but not like it's not like there's some of those Godzilla movies where like Godzilla's sliding on his tail or like flying. Like it's still they pushed it to like its limit of like being animalistic, but also having like animals with personality fighting each other.
Yeah.
For me, this was like there's movies that you just go in and like it's a versus movie, or you just go in and you just want to kick back, watch some big gigantic action, smile, eat some popcorn, have a day. You know, like a lot of like early 2000s movies. This movie is definitely that. So for me, it delivered in all aspects, and I was fucking pumped and elated to see something like this. This was awesome.
I mean, I thought these two, Godzilla and Kong, had the most personality I've seen out of any of these movies. And with all the stupid human stuff, it really is like the closest to like the old school like B monster movie kind of structure. Like I feel like they knew that the human stuff was dumb, and and you just went with it. You know, given that the whole fucking Millie Bobby Brown conspiracy podcast storyline is entirely unnecessary, you could get rid of that whole thing.
You don't need that at all.
But the girl, the way they introduced a deaf girl that can communicate with Kong, I thought that was amazing. And that's like it's a huge thing to have someone be able to communicate with Kong.
She makes no sense, but she's the best character they've done.
She is the best.
The use of her makes a lot of sense. Like just to have that connection with.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say she makes no sense in that she's in a monitored facility and no one could notice that she's teaching this
whole time
sign language.
Well, let's start from there. Like the first silly thing. So it has silly things like the old Godzilla movies do. Like all of a sudden he's in a fucking biodome on Skull Island. Like wait, you're like what? What the fuck happened?
I don't think it's all of a sudden. I think that, you know, they've been there since the 1970s, right?
Yeah.
And I think that at a certain point in time, the weather got really bad.
She said the island got wiped out.
And so they had to build this dome.
Yeah.
And it serves two purposes. Number one, it protects Kong from the weather, and it also protects him from Godzilla from kind of sensing him, because it could like stop the echolocation or whatever the bullshit that they used in the last movie that they completely threw out. So I think that's the purpose of that. So he's in there, and this little girl is the last of her kind.
Yeah.
And so they're like the last living beings of Skull Island. I don't know what else is in that fucking terrarium that he's in, but yeah, so I guess they have that bond. He's getting too big for it. He knows that it's there, and I don't know why he just doesn't go to the edge and just pound on it until it falls apart.
Was the size weird? They didn't really explain why he's big. They just, you assume he grew.
Well, they said in Skull Island that he's just a kid and he's growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's a bunch of things that don't really explain that are really cool, like his axe and the whole fucking throne. But you know what? I didn't care, because what I was watching was really a lot of fun. I even love the bad guy. Walt Simmons, played by Damian Bashir. He's just like this cartoony bad guy. It's fucking great.
He even wears like the jacket, like a cape.
Yeah, it's so funny, so bad.
He's always drinking.
Yeah, he's always. I mean, it's always in the Godzilla movies. There's always like an evil scientist that is doing some stupid shit.
I think
this
that
is
was
no different.
If you remember the original Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the alien was always just like drinking brandy, and I took it as a whole little homage to that. But I don't know if that was intentional.
Oh, there's some definite intentional homages to the show and stuff.
Oh,
and a bunch of
absolutely.
other
Well,
movies.
when they airlift Kong, I mean, that was like a direct homage to the original.
Well, not only the airlift. I mean, even just him on the tanker is an homage to the Godzilla versus Kong, and even like Kong 76
and Godzilla,
they're bringing him in on a boat.
The axe to the throat, like the tree.
Yeah,
that was there. We had that.
Oh yeah,
Godzilla's smiling too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's showing emotion, dude.
Yeah, he smiles when he throws Kong like towards the end.
You know, instead of nitpicking at stuff, because I mean that's an easy thing.
Yeah,
but you have 3 Godzilla fans and Imran's enthusiasm. I personally want to go into just some fucking cool moments.
Well, let's talk about fucking Hollow Earth and how it looked amazing. And I just didn't understand where the sunlight was coming from, but whatever. The
theory is, if you ever read Jules Verne or any of those Journey to the Center of the Earth, there is like the molten core that's supposed to be our planet's core is the sun.
Oh,
It's
that's
the
where
sun.
That's what I took it as too.
Oh, okay, I'll buy that. But I love, what do you think about the axe? I want to know the backstory about this axe. you know, I think the writer or director explained like this is one of it's Godzilla's scales that it's been, but clearly
absolutely.
powers up. And that fucking moment, I mean, it almost has a Captain America lifting Mjolnir moment. When Godzilla powers up the fucking axe, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I mean, this movie had me cheering at times. And just the fact that you saw that they respected each other, like game respects game, it was fucking great the way they did that.
Like the biggest hit that Godzilla took was when he charged up the axe in the first place.
He hit him back.
But unbeknownst to him, it was going to affect him that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw what it could do, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to fucking charge this motherfucker up.
I mean,
And
that was really cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was amazing.
I mean, the lead up to that, though, for me was like, first off, barring the Alexander Skarsgård charging his heart out of nowhere, but whatever.
That's like I watched the original movie too, by the way, before this.
Oh,
And
no kidding.
Yeah, that reminded me of
That's
like
true.
the
That is
electricity.
the lightning thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the build up to it where Kong gets up, he's doing the sign language, he relocates his shoulder back into socket.
That's so good. He pops his fucking
I
shoulder.
fucking lost it. That was, and that's a total homage to Die Hard 2. And I'm not sorry, no, Lethal Weapon 2. I'm sorry.
He's McClane and Murtaugh put together. Kong.
Yeah.
This Kong is.
Why? Because he's where are you going
he's
with
John
that?
McClane. No, he's John McClane.
Wow, that is a real fucking racist thing.
What? Why is
Erase
that
Cancel
that.
Emron.
What are you talking about? John McClane, he does the Die Hard
He
jump
does the
off
Die
the
Hard
boat.
jump. Yes, he does.
True. That's
and
true.
then he pops his shoulder in like Murtaugh, you
I'm
fuckers.
sorry. I thought you did
Riggs.
Murtaugh,
He
the other
pops
guy.
it in
Riggs.
like Riggs, you racist.
Yeah, Riggs.
Racist son of a
Murtaugh
bitch.
is the black guy. You son of a bitch.
No, Murtaugh is it? Which one is Riggs?
Riggs is Mel Gibson.
Who pops his shoulder back
Mel
in that
Gibson,
movie?
Riggs. You racist.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Racist
You know what I meant.
Emron.
I actually don't know. Now I've confused myself. Anyways,
This new Godzilla is unfriendly, and he's going to destroy your country. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes, just listen to that man.
Distraction techniques.
well, I was just going to say that build up though, where he pops it in. Godzilla is like on the ground getting his ass kicked by Mechagodzilla. He's going to do the throat thing that they homage from the 2014 Godzilla, and then Kong comes in, grabs his arm, and they like both grab his arm tag team style and like throw him through the building. I'm like, oh my! I literally was like, this is amazing. This is
Well,
the
how many
best thing
people
I've ever
died?
seen.
The destruction was
cares?
phenomenal.
Who
I don't care.
cares?
It was great.
They're all dead.
Everyone's dead.
I
Everyone's dead.
assume they evacuated the city. That's why I was like, they must have evacuated.
Listen, this isn't a sport. This is like fucking destruction.
Yeah,
this is what
it's
it is.
amazing
It's not-
destruction.
But like, yeah, it's like, it's Armageddon, but so many people died. You know, like, no, it's fucking Armageddon is happening.
That's what
Because
happened.
God's fighting.
What did
All
you
right?
guys think of Mecha Godzilla and how they did it?
I mean, he was fine, but like, I wasn't really inspired by him, and he, you know, he was. I feel like that they should have left something to work with for maybe another version or something. I don't know.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of The Dark Knight, the way they shoehorned Two-Face in at the very end.
Oh,
that's a good
interesting.
point.
Yeah.
That's what kind of reminded me of.
I like the idea of I liked like kind of the bones of where they were going, where it was like King Ghidorah's psionic link, so like he went nuts because there's some King Ghidorah DNA in him. He was I felt a little shoehorned in. Design wasn't great, but in action I was like, wow, this motherfucker kicks ass.
he
I was
moved.
like, holy
He
shit!
could fucking move.
It took both of them and the help of the humans to actually defeat.
Yeah.
Mechagodzilla had him. Like, there was no fucking stopping it.
The one thing that pisses me off is like they gave Kong the total win on this one. Like
he got the
you
killing
should
blow.
let Godzilla have one. Like all he did is charge up his axe, and then you didn't see Godzilla ever again.
Oh, but then Kong goes ham and fucking just chops him up and then does the Mortal Kombat fucking fatality and pulls his
I
head
would have
off.
liked to see
Great.
him
So
get one
good.
last hit in, just something.
Well, I accepted it because they gave Godzilla the killer W.
That's what I was going to say too. They gave it to
Sorry.
him.
It was a trade-off.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah.
But I like when he powers up the axe. I thought that was pretty cool, and like that he had enough sense to like sense that, you know.
I like that Kong when he was fighting Godzilla. Like he kept on closing his mouth when he was trying to do shutting his mouth as he was going to beam him.
Yeah,
and like kind of like putting it out like a fucking like a lighter or something, you know.
No,
It was like,
there was
snap.
definite moves where like he shoots the beam and then he like knocks him on the head and knocks his head down, or he's deflated. Like I love how you could see every move that was happening and you could see the thought process.
Oh, that was huge, dude. The fact that you could see it, and what another good thing about the whole end battle is that, like in Pacific Rim, Del Toro tried to shoot a lot of stuff from the ground level looking up.
Yeah.
This movie, they were looking down at when Godzilla's on all fours and like crawling and oh my God, I was like, that is incredible. And when Kong is swinging from the buildings, and then he's like hanging up on that tower, just like hanging out, waiting for Godzilla.
Yeah, waiting for him. So another thing that they did is if you notice, there's tons of these point of view shots. Sometimes they're Kong point of view shots. Sometimes it's you're falling down with them, and the camera is just like fixed to their body, and it looks fucking amazing. The colors in the smoke in Hong Kong, and all that was so good. So
you can clearly see like this franchise was kind of just like they just kind of did it willy-nilly, because like every Godzilla movie, even the Kong movie, they all feel completely different in the way they shoot the action. It's the tone is like wildly different.
Skull Island is probably the most closest. Yeah, because it's the one that like lets it breathe and you can see everything, and it's shot during the day. And it seems like a more classic film, a little bit of Sam Raimi-ish in places.
Yep.
But
I like his directing, Adam Wingard. I thought he did a really good job here.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he got a big franchise, and he didn't write the script, so he just had to shoot what was there. But when you deliver on the action.
So let's talk about it.
Freaking awesome.
Another amazing thing he does, the first fight on the ocean, on the boats, in fucking full daylight, right? As the sun is rising or setting. And, you usually see these fights, it's dark and it's rainy, like in King of the Monsters. You're like, what the fuck's going on? What'd you guys think of this original battle?
Well, you had a lot of call-outs to movies. You had, like, obviously, Jaws was invoked.
Okay, yep.
Especially when he has the boat, like the buoy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Kong, he wants to get Godzilla away from that boat because the girl's on there.
That was smart.
And then he does like something from an Evangelion where he hops on ships and lands.
Ships, yeah.
Hops and skips on top of them, and they kind of like
break,
go down into the water and come back up. That was cool. And then obviously they trade blows, and there's that great like Die Hard. He lights up the boat.
That's great.
And they fight underwater for like a period of time.
Yeah.
You can see what's happening.
Yeah.
No,
even underwater.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm obviously Team Godzilla, but I think it was kind of smart to like basically put the story on Kong. Kong is a little bit more relatable. Like he emotes a little better.
Yeah.
And even though I'm Team Godzilla, I was like kind of concerned for Kong. I was like, he's got no chance in the water with Godzilla.
No.
Like, he's going to die. They need something. They're going to have to do something for him.
Well, where the Godzilla films, the American Godzilla films went wrong is that they basically made him Gamera. And Gamera is basically a Terminator, right? He's got one mission, and he just goes and terminates Gallus and Legion and Iris. And
which by the way, they totally stole that trope from Gamera 3 for this one, right?
Of course.
With him destroying the bases and all
Jesus Christ, yeah, that was totally fucking Gamera 3. I was like,
it's Gamera 3, where he's just like, what's going on? Why is he killing us?
Yeah, where like the first movie, they hinted at it, and they kind of said, oh, it's kind of like Gamera. The second movie, it's like, a little bit more. This one, they're like, no, it's just Gamera.
Yeah.
So you kind of paint yourself into a corner when you make your protagonist a Terminator, basically. There's only so much you can do. Whereas in the original series, Godzilla goes from villain to hero, the superhero, and he had all sorts, and the eco crusader. I mean, there was so many more aspects to his personality. Even in the Heisei era, he had more going on. But so like Godzilla's basically just there to do one thing, just annihilate whatever's like when Mechagodzilla comes out of the mountain, he wastes no time, even though he's tired. He just goes right after him. It's like, all right, he's not like he's not going to be thinking about this.
I had a small thing there that I kind of appreciated. I've never other than that TriStar movie, because when Mechagodzilla comes out, they show Godzilla running.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Godzilla run other than that Diam Iguana. And I was like, I always thought that would look silly. And I was like, it doesn't look bad. He's actually fucking running.
You're forgetting Final Wars. Remember when he runs in Final Wars?
Does he run?
Yeah,
in Final Wars?
Yeah,
he does.
They made the suit skinnier just so he could run.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He does charge. The weird Kaiser Ghidorah thing that was going on.
He does like the Naruto run.
With his arms back. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's weird.
Now, do you think
this looked better?
Yeah, it looked a lot better. Do you think he ran because it was just another alpha of the fight, or because he sensed Ghidorah?
He
totally sensed Ghidorah. Like
the whole time.
The thing is, that's another thing that one of the things I hate about this movie is because they
let's get into that.
It's there, but they don't really address it or spell it out for people so they can actually have like confirmation that their theory, like obviously they're using Ghidorah's brain, and they're using two of them, not just one. They're using them to psionically talk to each other.
Yep.
And they're using that same signal that was on the orca. It's the same sound, that pulsating sound.
Okay.
All right. And so Godzilla obviously went to that Pensacola, because who wants to go to Pensacola? Nobody. So he went there specifically because that signal was being let out.
Pulsing from there.
And then they shot that thing down to Hong Kong. And then the minute that it lights up, you see him turn around and start going towards Hong Kong. And then they cut to Monarch. But they did it in a way where, like, I have to now add all the ingredients in instead of actually it being there. So you're like, oh, okay. And so, he obviously consents. And then as soon as they power that baby up, Godzilla's like, all right, this is what I initially wanted to do before I had to fucking deal with this Kong situation.
That's the best cartoony part where Mechagodzilla goes sentient and the bad guy's all monologuing, and then he turns around and he's just like, oh, shit. And then
I'm actually with Ruggs, too, where it's like, sometimes I like subtlety where you have to kind of figure it out, but that was too... It was like you were like, wait, what? Why did he go mad? Like, you had to think about it, and most people I don't think would put it together that it was King Ghidorah's DNA that was making Godzilla attracted to all of this stuff.
It's a signature, I think. It's just that he can sense that. But, they threw out so much stuff from the other movie that they didn't have to, which another reason why that I just don't understand. Like, I heard that Wingard has like a 5-hour of more footage that he shot.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's a 5-hour cut. This is not like a
give me the Wingard cut.
I think that he made a movie and then they reshot some stuff and then eventually came up with he had 5 hours.
Well,
probably shot
if you remember, when King of the Monsters landed with a big wet fart at the theater, Toby Emmerich of Warner Brothers was like, we're going to delay Godzilla vs. Kong because we want to deliver the best version of that movie. And I think if you watch the movie, because like Serizawa's son is in it, but there's nothing for him. So I think he just went and just cut out so much human stuff, like just so many.
There must have been a connection with his son.
Yeah,
but,
the Serizawa thing, that was one
weird.
of my only like major nitpicks. I mean, I could nitpick the movie all day, but that one I was like, so wait, you have Serizawa's son in this movie. That could be an important character, but why is he evil? Like, your dad worshipped Godzilla. Why are you evil? And if you're going to have him as a bad guy, why aren't we exploring this thing? Because this is like the only connection to like Godzilla that like we care about. Like the Millie Bobby Brown and Brian Tyree and the New Zealand kid. Like, we don't care about that.
Nobody gives a shit about that.
No, it was terrible.
That's my only other critique is, on the one hand, I wanted, like, King of the Monsters, the mythology building was really cool. I wanted a little bit more of that, but then that involves the stupid human parts, right? So you're adding more, but then they give you this podcast fucking storyline that goes nowhere.
One thing on that Serizawa thing, too, just as a quick Easter egg, that's a tie to Miki Sagusa piloting the Mechagodzilla in Mechagodzilla 2.
Or Katsura from Terror Mechagodzilla.
Well, it's like a Pacific Rim kind of thing, too. Like,
absolutely. There was like some kind of drifting with the kaiju, but like, shit, I had something and I had to say that, and then we like completely lost it.
Well, Serizawa, like he's all for this whole, Mechagodzilla program, and then they finally get the power source, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute, we don't understand this. He had like this change of heart, and it's like, you came this far, man. Like, what's
he wanted to wait and test it, and the guy's
by the
like,
way,
get
that
in the
power
chair.
source. I don't know how you can download a power source.
He downloaded the signal from 1,000. Okay, hold on. Can we pick a couple of things? First of all, they go, we're about to go 1,000 miles in 2 seconds. Yeah,
all right. Like, first of all, let's just talk about stuff that they threw out from the last movie. Number one, the beginning of this movie, it tells you that all the kaiju are dead. That Godzilla has taken them all out, right? So we didn't get to see any of those awesome kaiju that they introduced. We don't know what happened. They say defeated.
They
may not be dead, but they're defeated. I don't know. Maybe they went crawling back into the ground. Number two, Hollow Earth. We saw it in King of the Monsters, and you had to wear a suit, and you were frying in that suit because of the radiation.
It's got to be hot as shit down there.
All right, yeah. So for some reason, the radiation down in this part of Hollow Earth doesn't kill people.
The gravity's the problem.
And you can walk around. they didn't need that gravity thing.
I love that though. That scene where he goes to the top of where like the gravity level breaks and the rocks are just floating, and then he just pushes off Kong to the other side.
You can have that without the warp hole thing.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Like, an animal going through a warp like that. That's ridiculous.
But then when Godzilla burns a hole, he senses them. He's in Hong Kong, and they just happen to be directly beneath him, and he blasts a hole 1,000 miles deep. And there's a moment where Kong and Godzilla like see each other through the hole.
Well, they
And I
don't
was
see
like,
each
what?
other. They just look into the hole.
It looked like
I
they
guess.
saw each other. I was like, wait a minute. You were
that doesn't
directly
really necessarily
beneath them.
No, Kong climbed up like what, thousands and thousands of miles in like
over 1,000
in a matter of minutes.
Well, the gravity's inverted because you see him jump down the
Is he
hole,
falling
and then
or
comes,
jumping?
and then it inverts, and he has to climb back up.
That's so confusing how the gravity works in Hollow Earth. It made my head hurt.
It was a fucking cool scene when they when they first start seeing each other, and they're both like
they go passing
growling
each
at each
other.
other, like Kong's pounding the ground, and Godzilla's like slams his tail down.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's awesome.
This is great. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
But that's good. Like, they juxtapose these really fucking infuriating moments with something that's so great.
Yeah.
That it makes you it takes the edge off of the bad a little
they
bit.
did an amazing job. It's like a trope that Del Toro does a lot, where they sort of build up that moment when the hero arrives. Like when Skarsgård undoes his chains, you're like, oh my God.
They like
right?
let him free.
Right?
Yeah,
and then when
that's good.
Kong relocates his shoulder and Godzilla's going to buy it, and then all of a sudden he lands on top of him, that was like, it's like when Cap picks up the hammer. Like you're 100% right. Like they infuriate you. You're like, what the fuck? Oh my God, this is
And then you're
amazing.
like, yes. But then they do stupid shit like the girl locks herself in a room, and like before this boat goes down, like why did you just lock yourself in that room? Makes no sense.
And then that tunnel that goes from Florida
there's a monorail tunnel. Yes.
That didn't even need to be in a
What was
movie.
the point
And
of
then they
any of
end
that?
up in a Mechagodzilla test site. I was like,
That was great, though.
And there's no security.
Oh my
It's
God,
the worst security.
My
of all
wife was
time.
like, how the fuck are these kids? She's like, I hate these kids.
They get
I'm
in
Team
everywhere.
Kong. She's like, how did
It's
they get
so
in? There's
bad.
no security. I was like, they're building a Mechagodzilla, but there's no security cameras.
But it was pretty badass when Mechagodzilla slices through the skull crawler in one shot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was like,
With
whoa.
his
But you could have just cut.
I know.
You could have just cut to
You could have
Serizawa.
just show
You
show
could have
us
just cut
doing
that
that.
scene.
Yeah,
You did-
we don't need the fucking kids.
Yeah, use the time to develop Serizawa. Like, I think what happened is that they realized when they shot the movie that like Millie Bobby Brown's character, like they didn't need her at all, and they're like, well, we can't cut her. She's like our only like big name in here. Let's cut
and you know what?
Let's cut Lance Reddick completely out of
Yes.
this movie
Oh, yeah,
and give him
yeah.
one line,
Yeah.
but put him in like as the top stars in the movie.
What's her name? Wasn't even in it. Zhang Ziyi, the Mothra
Oh,
twin.
yeah, the Mothra girl. What happened?
Yeah,
what happened
and
to
the
them?
girl Jessica Henwick was supposed to be in
Yeah,
it.
cut her out.
Yeah.
So there's tons of this movie that's missing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the
It's weird.
takeaway from King of the Monsters, because this movie was being filmed during King of the Monsters when it came out, I think the takeaway was like, oh my God, we got to cut out all
I
of
think
them.
you gotta-
I think that's
you got to cut more here.
I think that's that's how dumb Hollywood is, because they're dumb. Because the reason why King of the Monsters didn't work wasn't because the human characters were bad. It's when we cut to Godzilla, they kept cutting away and not letting the action breathe.
Yeah.
Now, if they had these scenes filmed the way that they filmed them, it doesn't really matter what goes on with the humans if there's another 5 minutes or here or there. It would maybe hurt the pacing a little bit, but like it's not the humans that are the problem. It's that when you have the action, let it actually be something that's worth waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and King of the Monsters failed at that. King of the Monsters, like, it had these great establishing shots, and then the action was cutting to everything all the time.
That's absolutely correct. That's all I can think of is like the wide shot painting from that movie, but you don't really see anything. Then it's all like dark and close up. Can you make one of these movies without any actual human characters? Like you can have people in there, you can have TV reporters and people running around, but there's no like name characters with lines.
It's a fine. So I'm in the camp that I want there to be good human protagonists, because the best Godzilla movies had really good human protagonists, in my opinion.
Well.
I think where they dropped the ball is when, as soon as they killed Cranston in the first movie.
Yeah.
What
They haven't found anything.
No.
since.
So I was talking to artist extraordinaire Nick Shev about this. I said they could have had Cranston and Serizawa as like a Nick Fury,
Oh my
Tony
God.
Stark kind of, you know what I mean? Like a duo.
That would have been amazing through line.
And it would have been in all the movies. And Skull Island, they could have cut back to them when they were younger.
When they're kids. Oh, fuck. That's great.
Right? And I'm like, they had this set up and they just fucked it all up.
Like they got really close. Let's end with these. One first question in your mind, who won? Godzilla versus Kong. I guess it's obvious who won in the end.
But on that note, we know who won. That's a dumb question.
I think it's a draw.
It's not a draw. Godzilla won.
If Kong didn't have the axe,
Well, if the
he'd be
humans
done.
and if the humans didn't help when they did, Kong would have been done too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear from the movie that Kong is the inferior. He's always been inferior.
I like that they respect that Godzilla respects him now.
I would say it's like you have you put us in a cage with a fucking wolf.
Right.
Yeah, the wolf's gonna win.
We're gonna, but you put us in a cage with a wolf and we have a gun, then it's a different story.
I gotcha. Okay.
Or it's a human is deadly when it has
a weapon.
It can use
Yeah,
its faculties.
okay.
Kong is the closest thing to a human, so he can be deadly
With that axe.
and he can if he has, you know, he's obviously using the environment and all that stuff. But when it's just meat on meat, you got Godzilla's got all the he's got all the power.
Another awesome thing when Godzilla has Kong defeat. I know like they spoiled it in trailers, but when Godzilla like roars at him to be like, "I'm the motherfucking man,"
So
and
great.
Kong's just still like, "Fuck you," and starts
he roars
roaring
right
back
back.
at
So
him. Like he the little like snarl where he's like, "I'm defeated." He's like, "But I'm still gonna fucking yell at your fucking face right now and tell you to get the fuck off me." That I was like, my God.
Why didn't he kill him?
Godzilla?
Because that's when Godzilla got Kong's respect, or Kong
got Godzilla's. Well, no, it's more like I think it was just Godzilla's like, "I'm not here to fight you, fucker.
Yeah.
Stop it. I beat your ass."
He's like, enough with this. We're cool. Yeah, I get
I
it.
guess his mission was stopping Apex,
Right.
which
And
is
then Kong kept like didn't
an
know.
evil organization that was never mentioned in any other monsterverse
So you
film.
think that Kong? You think
Sure,
that he
why
was like if that was the case,
Mm-hmm.
then if they had the eye on them, you know, the Mechagodzilla eye that connects to the brain on that one of those ships, it would have made more sense, and it would have been like a kind of a
why
misdirect.
Kong shows up in the beginning.
It was basically
why he shows up to kill Kong. You know,
in the beginning.
Yeah, when he's on the boat.
I took it as he sensed that these humans were trying to like do some shit, and he's like, "These humans are fucking around here." That's how.
Now they got Kong, and they got Kong involved.
Yeah, they're being asshole humans again. Got to put them in their spot.
I'm gonna blow up this fucking factory for no reason. You don't know.
I mean, that would be even that would be some kind of depth at least if you had that in the movie. And I think if you want to see it that way, that's cool. But like, I wish it was written.
No, it's not on paper. You got to really dig for it.
See, like my whole thing is when I saw this movie, I saw this movie and I was like, I came out of it like, there's so much of a better story to be told here. And I was like, well, in the last movie, Godzilla loses his temple. He loses the place that he has, his territory. And so like in this movie, he's going to Skull Island to claim the last territory, and Kong's on it. And that's why they have to get him out of there. Not because he just goes around and kills everything.
That would have worked too.
Yeah.
There was a
Good
reason.
one.
And
That's a
so
lot
I was
better.
just like, yeah. And then not only that, but then he goes to Skull Island, beats the fuck out of Kong. And, you know, there's an opening on Skull Island. They talked about it in the movie. So Kong hightails it in there and like gives up Skull Island to Godzilla. And that's why they have to fight a second time. Like that's why there's a fight that means something, like for his home, you know. But you know, they had it right there. They didn't want to do
I still stand by my original opinion that they should have made this the second movie and built up towards King Ghidorah as like the Thanos of the MonsterVerse.
Oh, interesting.
And then they would just fucking all team up. Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra,
That would
King
have been
Kong.
amazing.
That would have
Do
been
it the other way around.
Then you would have done the destroy all monsters thing then, right?
Yeah,
They
but
could still do destroy all monsters, but they already destroyed all the
they
monsters.
destroyed them all. They fucked it
They're
up.
all
Imagine
dead.
doing like Avengers Infinity War after the first Avengers movie. That's kind of what I felt like they did here.
I think
I would
that
agree with you that. Go
They
ahead.
figured out the formula too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now that they finally figured out that if you just let them fight and you film it and you don't cut away to other stupid things, that you could pretty much do anything. I will watch any shitty Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla or Kong movie if they have these great action scenes. Like I'm gonna go even if the movie's terrible to see that because I want to see a spectacle in the theater. So they just figured that out. They just figured out, okay, let's get the people what they want. Like Wingard was like, I'm going to give people what they want. They want to see fucking monsters fight each other. Let's fucking
That's the closest they got.
He had like 2 Godzilla movies ahead of him to see where they fucked up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not
he had
doing
the benefit of that." Yeah,
No, but that was the first movie. Everybody said that, so they already knew that they shouldn't do. They should just let them fight.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Dougherty promised that, and then you didn't. You kind of got it, but you didn't.
What they really, I mean, in kind of, I guess not even hindsight, I kind of was thinking this as it was coming out, but they should have just went with the first Godzilla movie, the first Kong, as Bellotti said, and then went right away, Godzilla versus Kong. Like, use that, like, momentum right away. You blow it up with Godzilla versus Kong, and then
everybody wants to see that,
right? Everyone wants to see that, right? And then everyone's now, like, besides Bellotti's, like, asshole coworkers and family members, everyone now is probably like, I'm down for these fucking monster movies. So you use that Godzilla, you really use Kong's springboard to then open up the MonsterVerse and introduce King Ghidorah and Rodan and Mothra, and you throw in like a moth, you throw in Kong still in these movies too, and then you get everyone interested in all the other kaiju by using Kong, not throwing all the kaiju that no one really knows other than us fans in the movie prior and then going to Kong. I think they should have used Kong as a springboard to open it up.
Yeah, he's really the gateway, right? Because
it's amazing.
The takeaway is Kong,
yeah, it's
right?
amazing how big and popular Kong is.
They should have did G14, Skull Island, and then team them up.
This.
Right. Because Kong is a better character. All right, as a person to have empathy for, and you can
root for him
emotions.
Easily,
yeah. You can really, we all know what an ape is. We all know those things. So we have an affinity for Kong that is on another level than Godzilla's just a badass.
Yeah.
Godzilla's like this thing that we can't even understand.
Yeah.
Like it's just so crazy. But Kong, we can kind of like
you could talk to him, like sort of. Yeah.
There's sympathy for Kong. Like you can. It's like one of the only monster characters, like kaiju, that you can like relate to and be like, oh, like I feel bad for that character.
Well, so you
emotion.
Yeah.
Well, even in every single incarnation, this is not a new thing. Kong always interacts with a human being.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Like whether it's in the 2005 Peter Jackson movie where he's actually, looking at this girl and cracking jokes and tripping her with his finger and stuff like that. Like there's a real interaction.
Playful, he can go from cute to terrifying.
The only difference is in this movie, he's just 400 times bigger.
Yeah,
he's just like
the size of Godzilla. All right, let's rate it and give me your final thoughts, Bellotti. Give me a score out of 10 and closing thoughts on this.
Out of 10?
Sure.
This is a tough one because like Lizard Brain, it rates it like a 12, but then like Human Brain, it's like a 0. Yeah. So I'm going to go with a 5.
Oh, okie dokie.
It's in the but bear with me. It's in the middle because it gave me what I wanted to see with the kaiju stuff, but it didn't give me enough of the other stuff. I don't know. You know what? I'll go with a higher. I'll go with a 7.
Okay,
I'll give it a 7.
Okay. Oh, look at that!
Whoa, that was a jump.
Because like when it's tough because like I think about the monster stuff, and it's like in my opinion, and I'm saying this as a diehard, hardcore, Japanese Godzilla fan, is that it really was the best monster action ever put to film.
Yeah,
ever.
Wow.
And I'm talking and Pacific.
That's big praise.
Pacific. I know, right? What the fuck? What am I drinking?
Well, I'm down, dude. I'm down.
Pacific Rim is still my favorite. But it always kind of left me wanting more. This movie was like, I'm going to give you more, and then when you think you can't handle more, I'm going to give you even more. Yeah, they give you a lot more. So
nice. Okay, we got him up to a 7. Anthony, what do you got?
I am totally turning off my analytical.
Yes.
I'm watching Oscar movie type shit. I don't care. This movie, 8.5 out of 10. This
shit.
As a Godzilla fan, I mean, this is what I've always wanted to see: is a Godzilla film. And Kong, for what it's worth, with real fucking money behind it, with real awesome action. As Bellotti said, this is the best action in kaiju films I've ever seen. I like it better than Pacific Rim 2 just because I have a personal connection to both of these characters. Yeah. I've grown up watching kaiju films and monster movies and all those kinds of things. Pacific Rim is kind of a riff on all of this.
Yeah.
So this is this is the OG. This is them looking at Pacific Rim and be like, oh, that's what we can do. This is what we can be. And 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
And I will also say, obviously my favorite Godzilla movie. And I'll throw this on there. best versus movie they've ever made in
I
terms
fucking
of
loved it.
Godzilla versus Kong, or like Freddy versus Jason,
Yeah.
or Alien versus Predator, or Batman
This
v
is
Superman.
Batman versus Superman, but bigger and better.
Do not even compare that.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm just saying.
Do not
in terms
insult
of
Godzilla
not
versus
the movie,
Kong
but
with
like
Batman
iconic
versus Superman.
characters. Yes,
But in terms of like crossover versus movies, this is the best one.
Wow. Oh, Rug Boy.
Well, I would lie if I said that I didn't have like moments of disappointment in watching this movie. And I feel like, yes, I could turn off my brain and just go with the visceral joy that I had. Because I did. I was joyous. I was smiling. I was jumping in my seat. I was like, oh shit, this is they're actually doing it. So it did bring me joy, but I feel like that even if they did like do stupid shit, that they should have like at least made it make sense in the universe, so that as a cohesive universe that it makes sense. You introduce things and you kind of like throw them away, and then this movie doesn't even fucking matter any of this shit.
They didn't try at all.
Yeah, they didn't try at all.
No.
So, like if I was going to turn off all of my critical thing, I'd be like, this is a 10 out of 10. But I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 7.5. Okay. Listen, I echo Anthony 100%. It is probably the best monster fights you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
And they probably, I mean, like Uprising, when I saw Uprising, Pacific Rim Uprising, I was like, I left the theater going, that was it? That's it? Like, no, this is it. This is what you like. This is what you want to see. The moments I wish that Godzilla had that one last hit in Mechagodzilla at the end, but all in all, fucking bonkers, like amazing, great shit. So
fuck yeah. I mean,
as far as fights go, yeah,
I gotta agree with everyone. I enjoyed it. But that is the only criticism: is take out the fucking Millie Bobby Brown storyline, add a little more world building to replace that.
They just cut out Millie Bobby Brown 100%.
Yeah, take the whole thing out.
Expand Sarazawa part just a little bit.
Yes, and it's close to a fucking really fucking perfect movie.
And explain a little bit more of the axe thing.
Yeah,
like,
okay,
let's go into that.
Yes, but besides that, there's sequences in this movie I will happily go back and watch over again. The whole third act battle, fuck, is fantastic. I'm gonna give it an 8. I had a great time, and I know this is the end, but do you think this response will make Warner Brothers do something? I would love to see more about Hollow Earth. What goes on down there? Maybe the backstory of his axe. Are there other monsters? What do you guys want? Do you want it?
Bellotti, what is Toho going to do?
Well, the contract was up. The contract is up as of last year, but Toho is lazy and likes to make money, and they realize that they can make a shit ton of money by licensing their characters if Legendary wants to pay for it. And the plan was that if this movie did well, then they were going to go ahead, but Kong was going to be sort of the continuation of that, not Godzilla, is the last I heard. I hope they change their mind. I'd love to see the Japanese and the Americans just do two Godzilla universes, because then it's like an embarrassment of riches. We'll see. Like, I mean, we live in a world now where a bunch of fucking whiny fans can get a $70 million budget for a fucking a movie that, the director walked away from. So
I honestly got, so at the end, Godzilla just fucks off, swims away. I can kind of know I want to see a Kong movie more than I want to see another Godzilla movie.
I want to see both, honestly.
Yeah.
And what this movie did really well, I think one of you guys said it. Like, we had Pacific Rim, we had Rampage, we had what was the other one?
Oh, Rampage is a really fun movie too.
It was, but like those action scenes were good, and then it's like when you watch the new Star Wars trilogy, right? And you have like these guys using the Force, and it's like, all right, that's kind of cool, but we just had like 3 Thor movies and Avengers, and this is kind of dated. Like, you guys, you don't have it anymore. Like, now this is for the superheroes to sort of take the baton and run with it. Yeah. I think, like, these other movies were trying to out Godzilla, and King Kong. And like you said, this movie came in and was like, no, that's not how you do it. This is what it could be and how you do it right. And that's the best thing that I took away from it, is that they said they pulled a Bumblebee, a Transformers Bumblebee. It's like, they're like, this is how you're going to do it, and this is the template.
That analogy. Yeah.
So that was my big takeaway. It's like, if this is the last one, at least we know we're all going out on a high note. Like this, if it gets better than this, I'd be shocked.
So can we all agree this is the best out of the three?
Oh, easily,
right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that as a film, I don't know if it's the best, but as an action film, it is the best. As an action film, if you put action in front of it, if you're watching it solely for the action,
it's just a kung fu movie. I keep going back to that because it's the same sort of shitty story but incredible action, and
doesn't matter.
And it's like I said the other day, I was like, Jackie Chan is a legend because of his action choreography, not because of like the story of Dragon Lord. Like no one cares what Dragon Lord's about. They just want to see the action scenes.
I mentioned this to Ruggs offline, but it's Roadhouse. Like I love Roadhouse.
It is fucking Roadhouse.
I love Godzilla. The plot makes no goddamn sense.
And it's just brawlers. I mean, it's just brawler fighting.
It just gives you what you want.
Yeah.
And one other comment I had to say is the reaction to this is like, I think movie theaters and like people that are still movie fans, like in terms of going to the theater, like they got to be like jumping for joy because potentially Godzilla and Kong saved movie theaters.
Yes.
Like they're kind of showing that if once things are normal, like people want to go to the movie theater.
And it doesn't matter that it comes out on streaming at the same time. That
makes it even more impressive.
Yeah.
And it's limited, like COVID, day and date release, limited capacity at theaters.
I also went and I watched all of the reviewers that I respect that kind of get what this movie's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Every one of them, like including Movie Bob, John Campia, Dan Murrell.
They all liked it.
They all Stuckman. They all liked it. They all thought it was fun. They all had fun.
I think we were all waiting for something like this, and it's like the perfect time and the perfect combination of things. So it's amazing. Good stuff. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
Jesus Christ.
That was my Godzilla fart.
It's Godzilla!
Yes, the Japanese people heard you, Ruggs. Okay, comments, reactions from our listeners to this movie. Jose Ibarra says tons of plot holes, some absolutely pointless characters and subplots. Were they paid by the amount of times they said Hollow Earth? Countless what the fuck is going on moments. So what did I think of this movie? I fucking loved it.
I fucking loved it.
See, he gets it.
He gets it.
Jose gets it.
He gets it. He's on the same level.
That's right. Gerald Morris, our buddy from Two Peas on a Pod, highly enjoyable, but mostly when there were 0 humans on camera. He gets it. See? People get it. Okay, Bellotti, this one I think I want you to hear your comments on this. Mike Cherkowski from VampireRobot.com. King Kong escapes, but with Godzilla and Mechagodzilla in it instead of Gorosaurus and Mechanicong. What is he talking about?
Oh, you never saw King Kong? You probably would.
I have not seen King Kong
Tony
escapes.
and Rug Boy, you guys have seen it, right?
It's been years. It's been years.
Long time since I've seen King Kong escapes.
So they go to Mondo. It's Mondo Island. It's not Skull Island because they didn't have the copyright. But they go to Mondo Island. This Doctor Who, his name was. He was
Doctor.
Yeah, it came out during.
Name was Doctor Who.
All right. So for context, it came out in 1967. So James Bond was like big.
Okay. Doctor No and stuff.
Yeah. So Doctor Who was like this international terrorist, and his arch nemesis was this American submarine commander. And he makes a Mechanic Kong to sort of dig into the center of the earth to get this secret Element X, which he'll sell.
There you go.
There it is.
Element X.
So the Mechanic Kong malfunctions. So he's like, I'm going to get real Kong. So they go to Mondo Island. They capture Kong, and he fights Gorosaurus on the island. He's like the T-Rex of the island. And they airlift Kong off the island. He's on the boat. They bring him to Tokyo. Or they bring him to try to dig for Element X, but then... like they hypnotize him. It's so stupid. And as he's like digging, he like starts to like wake up and he's like, what am I doing? And he starts running out of there and he escapes and then he swims to Tokyo for some reason instead of like his
sounds kind of like this movie.
Yeah. So he ends up in Tokyo and Doctor Who shows up with Mechanicon and they fight in Tokyo, and they climb up Tokyo Tower and he knocks off Mechanicon and that's basically the whole story. So I guess it's kind of like that.
Kind of like it.
And also
but,
King Kong versus Godzilla. It's the same. I mean, it's.
You should look up the Kong design for that one.
Yeah.
Oh God, is it worse than in the?
It looks like the uncle
Godzilla?
that sat at your table at dinner that no one wanted to talk to.
Smelly drunk
Smelly
uncle
drunk
over there
uncle
in a Kong suit.
The Japanese got to get their Kongs in order here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so it's an appropriate metaphor.
Well, a quick side note.
Yeah.
I watched Big Action Bill review Godzilla vs. Kong and do like the history of it. Apparently, in that original, they told him that he couldn't make Kong look like Kong from the American film, so he based it from like a monkey.
There's something happened with the budget on the Kong suit where they were like,
there was a lot of budget.
There was a
issues
lot
with
of shit.
The whole thing.
And
I like this Mecha Kong design. This is fun.
It's actually a cool design, and it predates Mecha Godzilla by quite a few years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no one knows that, but
yeah, Mechanic Kong came first.
Yeah.
Mechanic Kong,
and it's they tried to fix his eyes, but then they should have just did what they did in Gargantuas and just had the actor's eyes, through the holes. It looked much better.
Yeah.
Instead of like cartoony eyes they put on top.
They're really bad eyes.
Yeah.
They're really bad.
Wow, I didn't know about Mechanic Kong. That's fun. Blake Braden says, I don't know anything about Godzilla or Kong lore, but I found it highly entertaining. The simplest story you can follow, much better than King of the Monsters.
He gets it.
He gets
got it.
Jose Joel Cazares, I fucking loved it. My only pet peeve is in this kind of movie, kids can literally get anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
He gets it. And then Lenny Romero just wrote, I fucking love it.
I fucking loved it. He was already in the bag.
Oh, yeah.
You
Like,
can't.
He was in the bag out of the
Let me tell you
womb.
something about Lenny. I love the man, but you don't ever have him on this show to ask him for opinions. Don't ever have him on this show.
Well, I've talked to him.
He listens to this show.
I want him to listen, and I tell him all the time. How many times did he see King of the Monsters? Like 17?
Oh my God. He's so many damn times.
Lenny,
That
how many
was
times
unbelievable.
have you watched Godzilla vs. Kong? I miss talking and hanging out with Lenny at the G-Fests, which it's canceled this year too, right?
Probably.
Did they cancel
Probably
it?
forever.
Oh, yeah.
And forever.
And forever? Okay. Just making sure. No more G-Fest. Where am I going to break toys now? I don't know. I'll find another
find a
convention
spot.
to destroy.
Where am I going to find women?
Yeah, where are you going to find hot Godzilla fans?
Literally anywhere
Yeah,
else.
I think you'll be fine.
You'll trip and fall on one.
You just had no competition. You were the Godzilla vs. Kong because you had no competition by any other man. Like how this movie has no competition from any other movie. So,
Bellotti, thanks so much for coming and helping us review this. We had to have you on, and I'm glad we had a great time, great movie. Tell the listener what you want them to do, where they can find you, what you got going on.
hire me for commissions because I'm not doing conventions anymore because of COVID. So I'm doing a lot of commissions. I just did a header card artwork for Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors.
I saw that. It looks nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And that was like a legit job. Like that was like a real thing. So that was exciting. But they can find me at my Instagram is preferable because Facebook sucks. It's at Robo7, ROBOSEVEN. And I'm on Facebook, but you can find me John Bellotti or at Art. What is it? Jesus Christ. At Robo7 Art.
How about they just go to robo7.com and they'll find links to
You
everything.
can do that
there,
too.
right?
Yeah, go to my website. Sure. www.robo7.com. That's the number 7.
Fantastic artwork you have up here and prints for sale. Any recent stolen art there? I noticed that's a thing.
Yeah, I just fought one. Somebody, it's like some fucking. They stole my Godzilla vs. COVID-19, and I just had to report it. So,
fuck.
What about those bed sheets?
Oh
though?
yeah. I got to tell you though, I went on Society 6 and I uploaded them to bed sheets because they looked fucking phenomenal.
So someone stole your work and was selling it as a set of bed sheets,
and it looked great.
It did look cool. I saw the photo.
Yeah,
It was like that's
vibrant. I was like, "This is. I got to get this. I got to make this official." It's the
first of all, fuck you, and thank you for the idea.
go
Now I'm going
fuck
to sue
yourself.
you.
Now, how do we
Go
make
fuck
this real?
yourself.
I will now buy them. Sorry. I need them.
I saw an article on Collider, Bellotti, about Godzilla vs. Kong, and there was some artwork, and I was like, this looks fucking familiar. I don't know.
I just met the guy. One of my coworkers today said, "Oh, my buddy just got a job with Collider." I said, "Really?" He goes, "And he just wrote the Godzilla article." I said,
"Oh."
So I was like, "Oh shit!" So he called him up and he goes, "You got to talk to this guy, John, if you need artwork." And the guy literally just started at Collider like 3 weeks ago. And he's like, I don't have much pull, but I'll give him your artwork and we'll see what we can do. I'm like, cool, let's do it.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for being our admin of the Facebook group. It's the one thing I just need you to do, and you do it well.
Yeah, well, the way you let people in, I don't know why I'm even bothering.
Exactly.
So, it's like, 37 new members. Like Emron will, all right, guys, Emron, I need to go to bed, but I gotta vent this. I'll go on and I'll say, member request. It's one guy. And actually somebody did agree today. So I let him in. I'm like, that's how you do it. Emron will go make a post. I want to welcome our new members. And it's like 13 people on the list. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I here? What am I doing?
So I don't know what's happening. I'm not letting them in. They're just getting accepted. And I just hit the button when it's new people. I don't know what's going on. So anyways, look.
Yeah.
Wait, are you accusing Imran of letting everyone in without doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually hit the button. I don't know what's going on, but look, today was my birthday.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Today was my birthday. I just let everyone in because for my birthday, I was like, "Come on in." No, I don't know. I didn't do that.
Well, happy birthday!
But thank you.
Happy birthday.
You filthy animal.
Bellotti had to bounce because he turns into a spaghetti squash after a certain hour. So
he needs to sleep or something.
Yeah, the guy's he's got a lot. He's big responsibility. Let's do some. You got to sleep. Let's do some quick.
He works on a TV show.
Yes,
it's got to be right.
And those are like long days, long hours, early morning. You got to fucking wake up at the crack of fucking dawn and paint shit.
What is he just painting lists black? Like that doesn't seem very hard.
He's painting lists black. Yes, it's one. On the one hand, it is one color. On the other hand, I don't know. You still got to paint it. Let's finish with some What Are We Watching? Because I wanted to mention, I mentioned earlier, on your guys' recommendation after our show last week, I watched the original King Kong versus Godzilla from 1960 something. What is it? 64?
Did you watch it before or after?
Before. 62. I watched it before. And that's why I really enjoyed this new version because, to its credit, it does similar things. Like, shit happens for no reason. There's a silly guy. But I will say, Anthony, I remember you when the octopus showed up, you were like, there's an octopus in this movie. I was like, what the fuck is this? A real octopus.
Yeah.
That was great. I love the red berry juice that for some reason that was not in here. Godzilla on balloons, fantastic also.
No, it's Kong on balloons.
I mean, Kong on balloons. So, like, when they airlifted him, I was like, oh, they should have used the balloons.
Fly me with balloons.
And, yeah. And it's, the other thing I noticed that both movies do, and I love it, it's hilarious, is sometimes buildings crumble under King Kong's weight. Sometimes you could just stand on the fucking building, no problem. Oh, shit. And just hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It depends on the building when it was made.
I guess it depends on the building, but he knows
What did you think of the fights?
The fights were hilarious. Kong took a fucking lashing from Godzilla's tail there. And in that one also, Godzilla seemed to win a lot of the battles. But then shoving the tree down there, and that was great. And then what happened? I'm trying to remember what happens. Oh, the whole electricity thing, how Godzilla hates electricity, but then Kong likes it. And it was fun watching these guys smash these models.
They just threw rocks at each other.
Yeah, so the little toy tanks are fucking rolling by and toy trains.
Did you catch the one where it was like the two toys? They tried to do stop animation.
Real quick, you see two toys go at each other. But I thought that was fun. It's a fun movie.
Did you catch the one where the part where Kong does a forward somersault and just somersaults his head right into a rock?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Godzilla stepped out of the way and he knocked himself out. What an ass. And then Godzilla starts bashing him with his tail. I'm like, you're the idiot who rolled into a rock. I also love the human character who is the head of a pharmaceutical company and also a TV studio network for some reason.
Yeah, sure.
It's a pharmaceutical company that makes TV shows, so he's like, get me a monster, any monster.
Did you watch the American version?
I watched it dubbed on Internet Archive. It was widescreen, but it was dubbed. And like a lot of it is just told by the UN television reporters cutting.
A lot of that's American. Those are the American
and the satellite,
alterations.
The fucking satellite illustration when it goes to the satellite and comes out. It's so funny. It's good. I kind of enjoyed that. That was a fun movie.
It's a fucking bonkers movie. That Kong suit is one of the worst things you'll ever see.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh, but when I was a kid, I loved it, and then I tried I was like, I always never liked the Kong suit. I was like, oh, this looks like shit. And then I tried to watch it as an adult. I'm like, whoa, they're really not even trying to like. They're just like it's totally a comedy.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Absolutely.
I thought there would be like a red berry juice Easter egg in this new movie, but he didn't.
As a kid, I mean, I love that fucking movie. I don't know if I'd revisit it and have the same affinity. For what it's worth, I mentioned it earlier. If you want to like catch a full review where it's like 30, 40 minutes where they go into the backstory, Big Action Bill does a good on YouTube does a good review of this movie. A good like history telling of the movie.
Oh wow.
And why it is. Like apparently there's like they wanted to like go on location and film this huge budget.
Oh wow.
And like the backstory with like Willis O'Brien, like he didn't even know that this was happening. Like they kind of took it from him and like just sold it to Toho.
Right?
Yeah, and he died.
Was that the director?
No, Willis O'Brien's the guy that like created Kong.
Oh, the creator.
Yeah,
of
so they were
Kong.
going to do this movie where Kong fights a Frankenstein monster.
Yeah.
Like, but not Frankenstein, like a relative of Frankenstein creates a monster, but this time it's a giant one. And Kong's supposed to fight it. And then that's what the original thing, and they shopped it around and they couldn't get it off the ground. And then somebody in Japan wanted it, and they kind of dicked them over, and they just kind of did it because they redesigned Kong to look different, and they tried to basically dodged all of these things that would copyright infringement.
There's a cool little thing where like Willis, so the guy that like did the effects for Godzilla, his name's E.G. Tsuburaya.
Yeah,
and he like really looked up to Willis O'Brien. Like he wanted. Like Willis O'Brien did like stop motion, and E.G. Tsuburaya was doing like he was equally revolutionary with like, Man in Suit, and like there was like at one point there was like potential for them two to work together. Maybe like there could have been a thought, and they wanted to like potentially do some more stop motion animation, do like a combination of suit and stop motion animation.
Wow.
But there wasn't enough. They didn't have enough money to do it the way they wanted to, so you kind of got a piece of shit suit.
Even in that one with Godzilla's fucking fire breath, like Kong has no chance. Like he's got to get in close, and you see like there's a moment where he realizes that like he's scorching them and just lighting things on fire.
Well, you notice they bill it King Kong versus Godzilla because Kong was the more popular character.
And kind of still is a little bit.
Might be, yeah.
That's what we found out. Yeah. No, that was a fun watch to watch before this. So anybody else watch anything interesting they want to? Invincible is still good.
Just Invincible.
Yeah, it's still rocking.
I'm all caught up on Invincible as well.
Oh, you are caught up.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I'm a fan. It's a good show.
It's fucking great, dude. Geek boner. I can't wait till we review it when the whole thing's over. Okay.
My favorite is the guy that they have playing Rex, Rafi. He's from the League.
Oh, Jason Mantzoukas. Yeah, Jason Mantzoukas.
I love Rex. Yeah,
he's
Jason
so funny.
Yeah.
I was talking about. I love that demon investigator who's kind of like Constantine and Hellboy and Etrigan.
Like Clancy Brown.
That's Clancy
great.
Brown. Yeah,
Yep.
I love that demon dude, and he's such a great character. I love how he talks. It's so good. And the scope of this thing, it spans out into space, and it's like huge, but then it's also very small family story at the same time, and the mystery's great.
Yeah,
so.
every episode, because I'm going in blind. Every episode, I'm like, they're going there. Oh, they're going here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The fucking violence is delicious. The gore.
I like the relationship that you see. Like these characters are well developed.
They really are.
Like the mother's got like a whole thing going.
Yep.
Then the Omni-Man's got his whole thing.
The
like
kids
really,
too. Yeah.
Like this is well done. Like this is better than like 90% of TV shows because they actually care about the characters. I think Kirkman's involved in a way, so he's probably shepherding this thing, and it's not exactly like the comics. They've obviously they've Frankenstein it together, like a bunch of things they cut out, and they kind of fast forward through a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
But it's still got the essence of it.
He probably learned from Walking Dead, having to rewrite that, and he fucked up a lot of things by doing it straight from the book and not cutting things out. And, I'm sure he learned a lot of lessons. That show is still on. I'm still watching, by the way.
And for what it's worth, I like a good superhero or action show where there's also a little bit of a love story. And
yeah, and
I'm enjoying the nerd getting the girl. So
yeah,
for what
that's
it's worth.
a good one.
Anytime you throw in a dude getting a hot girl, I'm all in.
Well, he's kind of got like two girls.
It does help.
Yeah, he's going for two.
Yeah, but and then
Kind of
Jason
like a hentai
Mantzoukas
situation that might happen eventually.
The asshole character that Jason Mantzoukas plays. It's great. Yeah, definitely check out Invincible. All right, good stuff. That's it, Ruggs. Where can the listener find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Really Rug Boy.
Go give him a follow, and you can follow us at Jock and Nerdcast. Subscribe to the show, and most importantly, share it with the world. Get it out there. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
I fucking loved it.
I fucking liked it.
My balls was hot.
Not funny.
Jockey Nerd.